This video is brought to you by Raycon. Alas, Mother's Day approaches, and so will your mom if you don't get her a gift. She might say, yeah, you don't gotta get me anything, but we all know that's a damn lie. So get her something that she can use, like Raycon's bone conduction headphones. Now, that's a peculiar name, but that's because these babies use off-ear audio, sending sound through the vibrations of your bones to deliver crystal clear music, podcasts, or calls while keeping your ears open to the world around you. So whether your mom's out for a walk or doing yoga or running errands or pretending to run errands, your mom can stay comfortable with whatever she's doing and stay present and aware of her surroundings. And right now, you can grab them for 15% off. They pack 13 hours of battery life, they're rated IP68 waterproof and dustproof, which is perfect for rain, sweat, and walks on the beach. Just, don't dive into the pool with them. Don't be an idiot. And as always, you're getting premium audio quality that rivals big audio brands, but at half the cost, and with a 30-day happiness guarantee. Over 3 million customers don't lie. Raycon's a pretty sweet deal, why they've been my go-to brand for earbuds for several years at this point, helping me escape this crazy world just for a little bit. So go ahead and celebrate the moms in your life. Go to buyraycon.com/SomecallmeJohnnyBC to get 15% off the bone conduction headphones. Once again, that's buyraycon.com/SomecallmeJohnnyBC to get 15% off the bone conduction headphones. And as always, thank you all so much for continuing to support this channel. Let's continue on with the show. Hey everybody, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. I usually start with the good morning.
Whatever that's time zone you're in. Some of us start with good morning. Some of us just wake up in the afternoon and loop around.
Either way, I hope you guys are enjoying your day. We got so this is a little unorthodox for a versus video because I'm simultaneously doing like the traditional movie review that I've done with past video game movies that have come out in the last couple of years, like the Sonic and the first Mario movie. But also I'm trying to bring back the movie podcast because years ago I used to do this with like my friend Gareth. FTA.
I did one with them for Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Oh, Game of Thrones. Okay, yeah. But we did like this, like Justice League, Man of Steel, and that sort of shit. And I deeply enjoyed the vibes of this one. But there's more than anything, I like the peer-to-peer conversation. I like being in the room with someone because I feel that is just best for a conversation.
Yeah.
And I was always planning on making a review / just discussion over this movie we're talking about today, the Super Mario Galaxy movie. But I didn't want to do it by myself because being real, like writing movie reviews and individually is really boring.
Yeah, it's nice to have somebody to bounce off of and just, either challenge your ideas or back you up. So. Which is, I'm curious to know where we're going to be with this one.
I am too. So joining me today is my Uncle Greg.
Hello.
I've mentioned millions of times on my channel throughout the years of me doing YouTube for a living. This man is the major inspiration of how I've, I guess, developed my tastes as a video game connoisseur.
I don't know. I would say that
you set the ground.
I introduced you to it and laid some groundwork, and then you grew on your own. And I think that's what matters.
That's right. I play 14. You know.
Yeah, exactly. See, some of us are right and some of us are John.
Exactly.
That's how it works.
Never going to get me to play tactics. But anyway, that's a topic for another day.
Absolutely.
So this is it. This is the second Super Mario, I was going to say live action movie. That's not true.
No, well, not live. It's animated.
It's the second CGI movie by Illumination.
Yeah. Second CGI, third animated, fourth movie overall.
Yeah. I suppose so, yeah. So before heading into that, so I've seen the movie twice.
Yeah, so did I. I actually just, at the time of recording, I just saw it like 2 hours ago.
2 hours ago, okay. Yeah, I saw it a total twice. I like to see movies at least 2 times before I make a video on them because sometimes I'm too distracted by the first time viewing to really think about. I don't like going into movies the first time as the content creator. You know what I mean? It's like I'm there to watch it as a viewer.
Yeah,
and just absorb whatever I can. And then it's like, okay, that moved too fast. I'm gonna watch it a second time.
Yeah. Well, it's important. I think it's important to do that because what you're experiencing when you watch it just as a moviegoer is the movie-going experience. Yeah. You're not a reviewer. You're not a critic sitting down, taking notes the first time you watch it, breaking up the continuity of watching a movie. You are watching a movie, enjoying it, letting its pace unfold in front of you, and then afterwards, if you want to review it, then you can go in with the sort of lens, and it's like, oh, okay, well, here's what's wrong with this and that, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Here are all the references, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's talk about before the movie came out, obviously, so I believe we have Old Spice products to thank for spoiling the idea that a second Mario movie was going to be released, because it was like a Old Spice. I think it was either an Old Spice tie-in or something. Some product had Mario Galaxy movie logoing on it before the movie was even announced. And I think not too long after Nintendo announced the first Mario Galaxy Direct. And I'm wondering if it was because they got their nuts in the vice.
Maybe. Yeah, I wasn't aware that there was a product. I'm used to it happening with the toys. I'm used to
toys. And what
I'm used to the toys hitting the stores, and then it's like, oh wait. I remember I worked at a store. It had a bullseye logo on it, and they put out a bunch of the good Dinosaur toys, and I'm like, I guess that's a movie. I just had no idea. They also got in trouble once for putting out the Avengers toys. And then I think it was for Age of Ultron. Yeah. And then the Avengers toys had a bunch of spoilers on them.
Oh.
It was like, okay, wait, what? All right. I guess Vision's going to be there.
This is wildly off topic, but I would have accepted a Emperor Palpatine returning in Rise of Skywalker if it was through a toy merchandise line rather than fucking Fortnite, whatever the hell they did.
Wait, Palpatine's back? How? Somehow.
Because the toy in Target told me to.
Yeah. Good.
That's got an egg on my face.
Yeah. The toy told me, yes, John. The toy talks to everybody.
So either way, the idea that one of the most successful video game adaptations, CGI or otherwise, was getting a sequel is not surprising in the latest.
Yeah.
But
it made $1.5 billion. They're going to do another one.
A billion Mario bucks.
Yeah.
I think. But that said, despite the inevitability, like, how excited were you going anticipating the second movie? Like, you saw the first one.
I saw the first movie.
What did you think of the first one?
I thought the first movie was fine. I thought it was a blistering pace to its own detriment, meaning that there were things that I felt like we could have had because if they had slowed down a little bit.
Yeah.
I like the characters for the most part. I think everybody was kind of their character, right? You know, the voices, you go back and forth on how you feel about some of the voices, but for the movie itself, I wasn't really I was expecting the Mario experience. I was hoping for something a bit more elaborate, but I was expecting a bunch of yucks and it was going to be a bunch of references, and there was barely going to be any story, because when is there ever a story in a Mario game?
True enough. Okay, but I asked you for your opinion on the Mario movie, and you gave me your Mario Galaxy.
No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. Okay. There is a difference. Okay. There is a difference. What were you thinking about the first movie?
Okay,
you were
so
like,
I made a video. Here we go. I made a video on the first Mario movie.
Chill.
Like I have to. It pays the bills. You can cash that in a card somewhere up here. I don't remember exactly where in the orientation of this video is, but I did make a review on the first movie, and I pretty much like fall in line with what you said right now. It's fine. Like there are a certain degree of expectations I have going into a movie that is so aggressively marketed as a children's movie. And I want to stress children's movie, not necessarily a family film, because I think there's a distinguishment between the two. A family film, I think, is something that's made for all ages, that all ages can appreciate, and not necessarily something that the little kids are going to just have fun pointing at everything that they recognize.
Okay. Which is interesting, because I think it's something like a Mario franchise. Yeah. The grown-ups are going to be the ones that are pointing at everything. Kids are not going to say, "Oh my God, that's Wart." Like, they're not going to know.
They're not going to know who Wart is.
Yeah, they don't know. They don't know what a Wart is.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad medical science has advanced to a point where children don't have to know what warts are. That said, I have watched it a couple of times. I watched it twice for the movie theater as well, and I watched it, I think, maybe 2 more times after that when I hit home video.
Okay.
Once with friends and one for my community night with my Discord community, the Subshack. But the Mario movie, the first one, is not something I'm ever inclined to revisit, because it and to jump ahead here, what I feel of the second movie are what I consider theme park attractions, where there is no substance. It is a thrill ride, but it's not something you want to be on longer than you need to be.
Okay.
And do I have fun watching it? Yes. Do I enjoy the idea of going back to it whenever? And it's like, not really, because I like, to me, movies are not just a fun ride. They are also an experience. They are an escape to journey into a new world and bask in the rich tapestry of that character's worlds, their storylines, any sort of bric-a-brac they may go through. Which is not to say that these movies don't have that, but I think it is not the priority at all.
No.
These movies,
and I don't think it was ever going to be.
Yeah, these movies at the end of the day are a celebration of Nintendo's most prolific franchise, like of all time. They're also trying to sell the Universal Studios, right? I think too.
Well, yeah. Like I mean, that's definitely going to be the case. There's going to be some. It's tough because you want to believe that. Like we grew up, I grew up in the '80s where it was cartoons were advertisements for toys.
Yes.
And you had a lot of that. So it's interesting to look at something like a Mario movie and say, oh, well, this is designed to sell a bunch of toys and to put a bunch of things out there. And it's like, yeah, but it doesn't really need help doing that. Like Mario has been Mario for so long.
Absolutely.
It does feel, and I think that was one of my first things about when people were saying, oh, it's just a bunch of nostalgia bait. But it's like, if it were any other franchise, we'd be calling it a celebration. And that's how I look at it. I looked at the Mario movie that when I went into the first one with that, and I went into this one with the same idea that it's just going to be a celebration of Mario. They're going to make a bunch of references because a bunch of references are what you do to recognize Mario.
Yeah,
the world.
Which is to say, because of my, I want to say. Because I'll describe it as an average reception to the first movie. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be, but nothing more, but nothing less at the same time, too. I did not go into the second movie with any sort of great expectation. Honestly, I was expecting more of the same. So I want at the end of the day, what I can say about the Mario Galaxy movie before we get into it is that it is pretty much exactly what I thought it was going to be, which is both a compliment and a detriment. We'll get into it. Yeah. Any sort of thing that would got me remotely excited for it was the name itself. It is called the Super Mario Galaxy movie. And Super Mario Galaxy, the original game for the Nintendo Wii, released in 2007. That game's turning 20 next year, actually. It is one of my favorite Mario games of all time. It is one of my favorite Mario games of all time. It's one of my favorite 3D platformers of all time because it is just like the total package.
Yeah.
It looks wonderful. It has a wonderful, if simple yet somber story. And it has one of my favorite fucking video game soundtracks of all time. I don't know if you played Galaxy?
I've played Galaxy 1.
You played Galaxy 1.
Yeah,
okay.
I played Galaxy 1.
So for them to name the second movie after that makes me think, oh, they're like, all right. Like, I'm expecting the sort of I'm not sure if it's a proper word, the illuminationification of whatever story they wanted. Like it's going to be loud, it's going to be zany, it's going to be frantic, which is not Mario Galaxy at all if you played the game. But they're adapting something I like, which means there should be a degree of familiarity there outside of the normal Mario experience. Yeah. Because again, everyone knows who Mario is at this point.
Yeah. So it was going to be Galaxy, and this is the same thing I said about the first movie, and the same thing I kept saying about the second movie, which is it is adapting something that everybody loves. But whatever the thing that it's adapting is a video game. Yes. And when you adapt a video game and you remove the interactivity of the game, you have to fill that space with something. Because if you made a movie that was just the Mario Galaxy movie, it'd be 8 minutes long.
I would disagree.
Not 8 minutes, but it would not be 90 minutes unless you fleshed it out somewhere, which is either you give it this really big elaborate story, which is not usual for Mario, or you give it a bunch of references and zany stuff that happens. And I feel like if you do that well enough, I'm kind of okay with it.
I think that kind of goes into my biggest critique of the movie, actually, regarding like you're removing the interactivity and what would you have left. And I think in Mario Galaxy's case, like, there's plenty to work with that because anyone that's played Mario Galaxy knows that there is so much to pull from, or at least so much to explore with Rosalina, given her nature as like this cosmic entity that literally can, with the power of Lumas, reset time and the world itself after everything that happens in that game. But also that air of mystery around it. We don't really ever get to, like, they share her backstory through the storybook that she carries. And nothing is implicitly said on who she is, but it's enough to let you know of her story, who she was, and who she lost, on that sort of thing. And my biggest problem with this movie is that she is not the focus of the Mario Galaxy movie. And I think that is the biggest detriment I can give to it, because they decide to focus on other things. Yeah. That it's like at the end of this, I have to question, outside of marquee value, why is this called the Mario Galaxy movie when the key figure of it is barely an entity? the non-Mario character
Yeah.
has more screen time than the quintessential Mario Galaxy character in this. And I feel that's a mistake.
Of what, Bowser Jr., you mean?
No, I mean Fox McCloud.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
So we're going to get into spoilers at this point.
Yeah.
I don't think Fox McCloud is a spoiler.
No,
because they just blatantly said that he was in the movie.
Him, which is a whole big thing I had with my community where I had a problem with the fact that they said it when they said it.
Yeah.
If they would have said it during one of those movie directs, I would have been fine. If they left it as a big surprise, I would have been much happier. Yes. I think it should have been a big surprise, especially since he had such a big role.
Can you imagine, and especially, like, how do you not do that? Like, in a post-MCU Avengers, like, landscape, where people live and die by reactions in the theaters, which you can argue it's kind of a shallow thing to get excited for, but imagine if nobody fucking knew that a other prolific Nintendo character outside the Mario universe was just in the movie and revealed the way he was in a theater movie experience. Yeah, instead of just saying, here's Fox McCloud on the poster.
You just hear his voice and you turn around and, oh my God, wait, is that what I thought it was?
Because he's introduced, he's the Han Solo of the movie. We're going to get into it, but like, you all you see is the back of him, but you immediately notice the R-wing. Like anyone that Nintendo fan,
and
knows,
you're already looking like and this is the big important thing is that this comes from Nintendo fans and people who are terminally online. Yeah, we're the ones that knew. Yeah. We're the ones that saw the Fox announcement. We're the ones that knew who he was. We're the ones that would have recognized him the second we went to the movie and saw him and said, "Oh my God, it's Fox McCloud."
Yeah.
I was talking to people who went to the theater and the place erupted. There were places where it erupted when they showed Star Fox because they didn't know.
Yeah.
Because they actually didn't know. What? Because they're not online all the time.
I mean, but there's also, which is not to say that's also, you can still go into a movie knowing that such a good movie and still be excited.
And still be excited.
Because you're still excited for the moment. But imagine just how more meteorific or just how fucking bombastic that reaction would have been if you literally knew what no one knew.
You would have heard that from other theaters.
Yeah, it was like, and that word of mouth, I was like, oh my God, you have to see the Galaxy
movie. And I think we went back and forth on my stream about whether or not they should have told us, would it have been better if it was a surprise. And I kept trying to come up with reasons why they would say it a week before and not earlier, but then not leave it a surprise. All I can figure is that they didn't leave it a surprise because they wanted people to talk about it. We talked about it the week prior when they announced it early. We talk about it now that we're, oh my God, Fox, and he had this big role and he did all of these things. Whereas if it was left of a surprise, we now can't tell anybody.
Yeah.
We can't have a conversation where we say, hey, go see the Galaxy movie. Star Fox is in it. We can't say that.
Which is weird because it's like I feel the Mario Galaxy movie wouldn't really need any sort of additional grabbing points to get people to go sit their asses in the theater. Like it's the
and that was my big thing. Like a week prior, you know if you're going to see it or you're not going to see it.
Yeah.
Who was on the fence that you needed to say this early?
Yeah.
And it just kind of keeps coming back to, I think they wanted people to be able to talk about it after the movie came out because I mean there are a couple of points that you can't really talk about in public. I mean, you can if you're a jerk.
Yeah,
there are things that you don't want to spoil, and that's all. That's our culture. Everybody is like, oh well, in Japan they're not really big on spoilers and cheering in the theater, and I'm sitting there like, but it's kind of awesome here, so I kind of wanted it to be here.
Okay. That said, though, let's get into the movie itself and the Mario Galaxy movie. As begins as the original video game does. It's a nice little reference, but it starts with Rosalina sharing a story with her Lumas, who are essentially her children. And though she originally wants to start a story with Princess Peach, the children yearn for the plumber and Donkey Kong.
They're hooked on the plumbers.
Yeah, exactly.
They're hooked on the brothers.
I'm sorry. I think
which one of them says.
He's going to say. It was like, how do you know what that reference is? You're like 3 months.
He saw the first movie.
He saw the plumbing commercial.
Yeah, it's like in Star Wars when all those people weren't afraid of Darth Vader. Like you guys saw the movie, right?
Yeah,
you're here.
But story time is cut short because Rosalina is then immediately attacked by the contraption in reference is the Mega Leg. That's the name of the boss.
Yeah.
But inside of it is Bowser Jr.
Yeah.
Who is a new character revealed for this for the movie universe. Do you remember the voice actor? I'm blanking on the voice actor.
Softy, Benny Softy is, I think, was his was the VA for him. Yeah. And then Kamek was there also.
Yeah.
Or was it Kamek?
Yes, Kamek. Yeah, it's Kamek. So their performance as Bowser Jr. did warm up to me at first. Because they were revealed in a Nintendo Mario Direct like a year prior that they're going to be announcing this character. And obviously, I don't immediately condemn anyone for just like being casted, regardless if it's strictly just for marquee value. I'm looking at Donald Glover as Yoshi. It's like Yoshi. Anybody can play Yoshi.
Donald Glover as Yoshi is similar to me as Vin Diesel as Groot.
Yes,
it's like it's a well-known name. Yeah. It's fun to think of it. Yeah. But realistically, they're going to alter the voice so much. I might be the VA.
Right.
You don't know.
Maybe they did. Maybe Donald Glover can just do a Yoshi voice. Yeah. Maybe that's.
And maybe Vin Diesel actually only says I am Groot. Yeah. just
with
all
no
the time.
voice filter or anything. He can just naturally reach.
But you don't understand what he says because you're not family.
But sorry. But like it is overall it's a fine performance. I think it does. I do think this Bowser Jr. sounds a little old.
I think he sounds old considering we're looking at a Bowser Jr.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be it feels like we've always been looking at a kid.
Yeah.
And it was kind of jarring to like, oh my God, he is like a grown person or at least 18-year-old human. So that was a little jarring, but it wasn't really bad. I didn't really have a bunch of expectations about what he would sound like.
Yeah.
So outside of that, I just thought, oh, okay, that's the choice. That's what we're going with.
Yeah. So Bowser Jr. Essentially goes toe to toe with Rosalina. Rosalina is kicking this thing's dick in.
Yeah,
the power of the magic
that's one thing I want to say right now. I'll probably say it again throughout the thing. Everybody can fight.
Yeah.
I don't care who it is that's getting in the mix. They can all fight.
Yeah.
There isn't a single character in the movie that is, oh my God, I'm cowering and I'm going to hide and not do anything.
Yeah.
They all kick ass.
Everyone is given, I think, a degree of agency that I think is needed just so that, because I know it's a Mario movie, but I also feel in 2026, we're kind of far beyond the classical damsel in distress sort of plot.
And that's what I liked about it. That's what I liked, that there wasn't anybody who was,
which is unfortunate because that ends up being Rosalina's role for most of this movie.
Sort of, yeah. Sort of. The reason I say sort of is we'll obviously keep elaborating, but she gets overpowered for a specific reason. She's not just weak.
Yeah, she's not just weak. You're absolutely right about that.
She gets overpowered. I gotta say,
also, like a great establishing villain moment for Bowser Jr. Because one of the last things we see, but what ends up leading to her capture, is that one of the Lumas opens the door and says, "I had a bad dream." Sees the Mega Land, says, "It's not a dream anymore."
It wasn't a dream.
And then Bowser Jr.'s immediate thought, "Is that a daycare?" Bam,
just goes right
for it with a bunch of bullet bills. Fuck them kids. But that catches Rose, like that makes Rosalina vulnerable, and that leaves her open.
Yeah, and then he captures her, and then she's still not captured because when they get her back to where they're going, and they reveal their grand plan, she just breaks out of prison. Like she was it would have been great if she just kind of, it was with Man of Steel, where he's in handcuffs, and then at one point he's just like, all right, let's get serious. Click.
Like you were telling me your plan.
Yeah, and she just said, all right, it's time to bust out now that I know everything.
But it doesn't work out, though.
But it doesn't work. She still gets caught by Bowser Jr. Very cool scene, by the way, with the paintbrush.
With the paintbrush.
Which is probably one of my bigger sticking points with the movie, is that they don't ever explain it.
So
they don't explain.
In the movie itself,
he's just there with it.
In the movie itself, it is not explained. It is just one of those. If you're a Mario fan, you know the context of the paintbrush, and the paintbrush stems from Mario Sunshine. And it was a contraption invented by Professor Egad from Luigi's Mansion. I don't know how Bowser Jr. ever got a hold of it. I assume we just held Egad for ransom.
Well, there was an Egad logo in the movie.
Yeah.
And I believe there was one in the first movie. So people are speculating that Egad's company does make some of this stuff, and that Bowser Jr. probably stole it.
Or
so
maybe
it would have been.
Maybe it's something you can buy.
Yeah, maybe it is. I have no idea. Maybe he has like
Bowser
special
Jr.
paint.
went to the Target. It's like, oh, they're making a Mario Galaxy.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's how Bowser Jr. found that. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Oh, I gotta be in this.
I'm in this. This is great.
But so there's no context for the paint. At the same time, it's like you don't really need. I don't
need it. He's got a powerful MacGuffin and he's using it to cause trouble.
allows
That's
him to
it.
become the Prowler from
Yeah.
Spider-Verse.
Yeah, he didn't make that noise, by the way, which kind of bummed me out.
I meant
Sorry, spoilers.
that might have been a little too on the nose. Maybe
Yeah.
that was the sort of thing.
What's the sound effect?
But at the same time, he the distinguished look he has when he's in paint mode, I guess is a way of putting it. I think he's had since Mario Wonder. I want to say we did a Let's Play in that game on SG. Like I think about a year and a half ago, and I remember him looking like that for that. So I know it's a wholesale reference to the video games, but it's like in a movie theater experience, like he's just Prowler.
Yeah, he's just, all right, this works.
Well, it's whatever. I like Prowler, and that's really cool. All right, so Rosalina is captured, and we immediately cut to Princess Peach's birthday.
Yeah, which was probably one of the bigger changes outside of they kind of alluded to what the big secret was.
Yeah.
But probably one of the first changes was that it was her birthday instead of the Star Festival. Was that what it was
Star
called?
Festival, yeah.
Which was every 100 years. Not a bad change. I don't mind that.
It's also just kind of an innocuous change. It really doesn't matter. As long as a celebration is held.
I don't mind it, but for the scene that was coming up, it was a bit jarring for me.
Okay.
So they are at the party. They do Mario he's looking for Peach because he wants to give her a gift. Great touch, by the way. I like that Mario was the one that gave her the parasol.
Yeah.
Although I do kind of wonder, is Mario a horrible regifter? Because was that his ex-girlfriend's parasol? Was that?
Hold on. Did he have an ex-girlfriend from the
Pauline's parasol in Donkey Kong? Remember the 3 items that he would collect? It was the purse, it was a hat, I think, and it was a parasol.
But Pauline's not established in the movie universe, I don't think.
I don't know.
Not yet.
Not yet.
That'd be some shit.
But Mario has a past.
Peach is that a gift receipt?
Is that his ex-girlfriend?
You weren't supposed to see that.
That's his ex-girlfriend's umbrella. But so he gives her the umbrella, and he finds her up at the top, and then he goes and talks with her, which was a nice moment. I do think they're starting to set up a little bit of the
Peach
they
Mario
like each other.
Well,
yeah,
the Peach Mario. Before
thing.
then, like Mario and Luigi are in their room back at their apartment.
Oh yeah, when he's teasing him to like ask her out and stuff. So so they do that, and then the Star Festival thing starts. So the meteor shower starts. And I wasn't a big fan of that because I liked the scene. I thought the scene was fine. The little star bits are falling down and they're eating them or something. And then, but what it made me, everybody's thinking, oh, this is amazing. But that's not what you're here for.
Yeah.
So this thing looks like it comes out of nowhere and nobody's worried.
Yeah.
And like in the game, that's what they're here for. It's the every 100 years. So then when it starts, I think, oh wow, okay, it's starting. In this, I'm thinking,
disconnected from
there's
the party.
Something really bad happening that all of this is going on, and nobody's kind of concerned about it, right? They're eating
Which is
the
funny
star
because
bits.
there's that kind of leads into what the sort of natural conclusion to that one, because everyone's enamored by the Star Bit Festival, and everyone's having a fun little moment. But then there's a particularly large one that they're staring at, and I'm thinking it's like, oh, it's really beautiful. I was like, what if the movie ended right there, where it's actually just a meteorite?
Classical nuke.
Just drops on the Mushroom Kingdom roll credits, because it's like no one because they do look at it with a bit of concern when they realize, hey, that shit's getting close.
Like that. Well, what? Look at that big one.
But it ends up just being the baby Luma that managed to escape. From Bowser Jr.'s clutches before Rosalina was incapacitated.
Well, no, the second time. When they brought her back, she started to kick everybody's ass. They captured her. This was the Bowser Jr. fight with the paint. And then that's when she distracts him so that the Luma can escape. And then this is when it gets there.
Yeah. Which is also to say, I just realized, because how fucking fast this movie moves, we completely ignored Yoshi's debut. Because that happens before the birthday party.
You're right. That is was that? Yeah, you're right. That was
so after the Bowser Jr. stuff, we cut to Mario and Luigi on their Mad Max shit. Yeah, doing tricks on their motorcycles in the Tostarena Kingdom. I think it's from Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, it's the one from Odyssey. I never remember what it was called.
Yeah. They're there just because they're I think between the first and the second movie, they're not just plumbers. I guess they're mercenaries, or they're
I look at them as handymen.
They're just handymen.
Yeah, I look at them as handymen, and they can do a little bit of everything, especially now that they're going to be living there, because they are. It is implied that they're there for an extended period of time.
I think they just live there now.
Yeah, I just kind of assume they live there and that they have been living there for a while, because that was one thing where I just thought, is this right after the first movie or is it not? But they did the Nintendo thing where they don't really talk about time, and then you can just kind of put it wherever you want. Yeah. You could say they've been living there for 5 years and it would all still make sense.
So they're putting they're in the kingdom because they've been called there by the citizens there, but there's a noise coming from somewhere inside of the giant inverted pyramid. So they go to inspect it. I like that they use the fire flower as like makeshift
I do like that. And when they're standing around and they're all talking before they're going to go in, and they're all scared, and the one's got the maraca that's like a rattle, so he's like shaking pointing. It. I heard it this time. One of them says Yoshi. Yeah. And I don't know what they were saying. I don't know if they were saying, like, I think it's a Yoshi or something, but because everybody's talking at once, you don't actually hear it. Yeah. But when I watched the second time, I heard somebody does call out that it's
one
Yoshi.
Of the rewatch bonuses. Yeah. But that is when they stumble upon Yoshi, who is Yoshi was teased at the end of the first movie because I think it was either a post-credit scene or a mid-credit scene that you just see the egg. Inside of the sewer lines, which is just like, okay, well, like, the very least,
and they were in the background in, I think there were Yoshi eggs in the background of the first movie, but they didn't really do anything with it.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell.
And that's kind of wild that we missed that scene because that is, I believe, one of the only 2 scenes of licensed music. Yeah. So they use Hypnotize, and it's not the lyrics or anything. No. It's just the rhythm. Which is great because now it puts Sean Combs in the credits. Yeah.
That's right.
Now you got P. Diddy in the credits.
Remember one of the first things I saw on my social media says, you know that P. Diddy's in the credits? I was like, is he? Yeah,
he's in the credits.
I was like, yeah, he's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's another point of confusion for me, was just the idea that Yoshi went to regular New York first and then came back, or it might not be New York. It might be New Donk City.
I think no, because I think the insinuation is that it's the same Brooklyn.
Yeah, that was what I was expecting.
So yeah, they stumble upon Yoshi, who hatched at some point before they met, and then they go into a very quick, albeit cute, backstory, adorable. Because you get like Yoshi just rummaging through the city. And like honestly, I think it would have made a fun little spin-off if they just made a whole movie of Yoshi exploring the city and like going on his own adventures. But it's very quick, where it's Yoshi in a pretty funny like edited bit where he's just walking amongst the city. He's going through all these like sort of attractions.
He's doing all the sightseeing. He's got all the New York tourist knickknacks and stuff on him. And then I forget what it is that they see. Oh, he destroys
the dinosaur exhibit in the museum, and then he's immediately it goes in reverse, and then now he's suddenly going through all the same spots, but now he's on the run. Yeah, the last shot we see is him getting chased by the police,
and then he's dropping all of the stuff that he got. So by the time he gets back to the portal, he's back to regular Yoshi. Yeah, my favorite part of that scene though is that all of that's a flashback. Yeah, that's him remembering right after they said, "I wonder how he got here." Yeah. So then you do this whole thing, which they can't see. Yeah. So when it cuts back, they just go, "We'll never know."
I just like the blink and miss it Yoshi on the run from the police. Yeah, because you know that's going to be a gif.
Oh well, they finally got him for tax evasion. Yes. Look at that, he fled
and he escaped to the sewer.
This is where he lives because he fled after tax evasion. Yeah, I mean that was a great little gag there, and then he comes through. It's another one of those, and there's going to be a bunch of these in the movie. But it's another one of those. Was it necessary? No. Not really. Was it fun? Sure. Yeah, sure. It was
like
funny.
It's like because you got to have those things. You have to. As much as I yearn for the movies to slow down, breathe, elaborate, you got to have your bits that are just there to make you laugh.
Yeah, it's a comedy movie.
Yeah, this movie is primarily a comedy at the end of the day. And it's not only there to entertain you, it's also there to make you laugh.
Yeah, and it's there to entertain two groups of people. It's there to entertain kids, and it's there to entertain adults. And adults will get different things. Kids aren't really going to get the tourism joke if you're talking about like 4 and 5-year-olds. Yeah. But 40-year-olds are going to understand, oh, look, he's touring around, and he's collecting a bunch of stuff, and then he gets chased because he destroys a dinosaur, which is ironic.
Which is ironic, yeah. But I guess real quickly to go into this, because we were talking about voice actors beforehand, even though like this is kind of like kind of whatever, but Donald Glover as Yoshi.
Yeah.
Like,
it's fine.
I think it's fine. Like,
I mean,
it's a thankless role because it's like
it's a credit for the sake of a credit.
Yeah, it is something for marquee value specifically.
Yeah.
It's like I know who Donald Glover is.
Donald Glover is going to get more out of this than we will it being Donald Glover.
Yeah, I'd imagine for someone like Donald Glover, it was like, oh yeah, I got the voice.
Yeah, I got to be Yoshi. I got to be Yoshi. You know, and he'll probably be Yoshi for the time being. Like I made the Vin Diesel comment, and Vin Diesel was Groot for at least 3 movies.
Yeah, and not to mention like for a character that usually is known for just speaking one-word sentences, it's just his name. It's a Pokemon. Yeah, essentially, the pantomiming from Yoshi in this movie is fantastic.
Yeah, they put a lot of spin on what he was doing, and Yoshi,
the body language is pristine. Like you know exactly what is inferred and inflected upon the animation and the body language.
Yeah, they do a good job. They did a good job of that.
But then again, it's not. We're probably going to be saying this millions of times throughout this. Without a doubt, this movie looks fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
That was just like one of the one thing that everyone can just flat out fucking no nonsense agree upon for the first movie. It looks and sounds wonderful.
Yeah,
I know Illumination is very contentious, especially like the Minions movies. I don't watch them, so I don't know what exactly that means. But like everyone can agree that, well, at the very least, the movies look fantastic.
Yeah,
and more than anything, I feel I do enjoy the look and feel of this movie a lot more than the first one, which is saying something because I thought the first one was also really beautiful looking too.
Yeah,
it's just colorful. It's rich. The sound design is pretty on point. It's what I live to see in a CGI or otherwise animation.
Yeah,
it just gets all of that right.
It's entertaining to look at. It's beautiful. There's nothing so jarring that you look at it and you think, what the hell is happening here? It can be a little busy, but not overly so. I don't think that this movie was too bad with that. One thing I will say is that we haven't really talked about the pacing yet. Well, we kind of mentioned it. One thing that I find interesting about this movie is that it is a relatively blistering fast pace.
Yes.
I like all of the things that happen. When we go from one scene to the next scene, I usually like the next scene. I'm into it, and that's funny, or that's a great action set piece. The other thing is I don't feel like, and this is what I do feel about the first movie, I don't feel like I was cheated out of something because of time. When I watched the first movie, for instance, the Donkey Kong and Mario is the scene that I always bring up where they're having kind of a heart-to-heart, and it was really interesting. But because of it feels like because of the pace of the movie, we had to get past that. Yeah. Like, we can't linger here for too long. We got to keep going. And I don't feel any moments in this movie where I say, wow, if we would have slowed down a little bit, we could have fleshed that out a little bit more, and it would have been more interesting. I think there's a very good you think there's a good example for that? One, I didn't feel like there were any moments where if it slowed down, I would have gotten something that I really, really wanted. Yeah. What moment for you is it?
It involves that. It goes later into the movie. Okay. Like when the twist, when we learn, like, not so much a twist, but like a big reveal.
Yeah.
That was not a thing in previous, like,
has never been a thing.
Never been a thing, actually.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that. We'll get there in 5 minutes because the movie was really fast.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So, but going back to the plot. So the birthday party happens, the star shower happens, the Luma manages to fucking finally find Peach.
Yeah.
We think that's what the Luma says anyway. It's kind of like
that's
like a
the big
audio quirk.
There was a real audio quirk when he says finally, and it didn't sound like finally, and everybody's kind of going back and forth. We know that that's no way Nintendo actually said it, but you can't convince me that it didn't sound like it.
It's funny to think about. So Princess Peach has learned of the predicament of Princess Rosalina, and she wants to do something about it, but the Mushroom Kingdom, the Toads, don't want her to go anywhere.
Everybody, pretty much just the Toads, because Mario and Luigi don't really say anything about it.
Yeah, but Princess Peach, like, she's royalty, and she wants to demonstrate that she's in charge. Decides to go anywhere.
Well, she can't leave.
Yeah, she can't. Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like there's someone in need.
Yeah,
like, she's going to go and help them. So she leaves Mario a letter. Straight from Mario 64,
which was great. Yeah, which in 64, did she call him? Did she say "Dear Mario"?
No, she called no. So in the game,
when
she
it
calls
starts,
him "Dear Mario."
Okay, in the movie,
she calls him Mustache.
Yeah, she says, "Dear Mustache,"
which I really like.
I like that.
I like pen
it had a little bit of charm.
Yeah.
Outside of the game.
But do you think she called him Mustache because that's a cute pen name?
I think it's.
Do you think
it's
she just forgot his name?
No, I think it's cute pen name. I think it's cute pen.
Fuck, what was his name?
Yeah. What? He's the building super. She has to. She has to remember him.
So she leaves Mario a letter, letting her know that, hey, I'm going to do this anyway. I know you guys didn't want me to, but I'm going to. And then she goes off with the Luma to go find the Gateway Galaxy. I think that's what it was called. Because they use the warp stars, essentially, from Galaxy. Galaxy, there were these launch stars that allowed you to travel between different planetoids.
Yeah.
And the Mario Galaxy movie, you can just use it for interstellar travel.
Yeah, which is wild to me.
At the time of this recording, the Artemis 2 just launched.
To
the moon, and that took millions, if not billions, of dollars of prep and set up for the rocket launch. And this girl just went into a star and just went up.
Yeah, and just traveled how many millions of light years to get to where you're going? Either that or space is like 80 feet wide.
Just able to breathe in space, no problem. But Mario can always breathe in space. I think you just can't. Breathe underwater.
The movie doesn't do any. There's no fall damage. they like jump down to the thing, so like they don't do the breathe in space or they don't do anything in it. And then later there's a scene where if you were curious about whether or not they're breathing in space, there's a scene later where they're definitely breathing in space.
But I don't care about that.
Yeah,
like I genuinely do.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a Mario.
Yeah, it's a Mario game.
It's a Mario movie off of a Mario game. What do you expect? So she leaves.
Peach is gone. She's with the Luma. She's out doing her princess thing. Mario and Luigi are caught. Like, well, what do we do now?
Yeah.
So they're now going to do what I call the TikTok sizzle reel.
Yeah.
Because now it is just a montage of Mario and Luigi doing Mario and Luigi things.
Yeah, going and helping. This is where the handyman aspect comes in. This is
the thing that's playing in the background when you're waiting in line at the Universal gift shop. It's just and that is one of my problems with this movie is that I wish it wasn't so obviously edited to be part of like a sizzle reel or marquee, because there are a couple of action sequences in this that I feel serve nothing but to remind you of who these characters are when we already know who they are.
Okay.
And we have this because this is one of several obstacle course sequences in the movie.
At this point, I think we've had 2 montages, maybe 3, because at this point you've had the montage with Yoshi, and then I think that's it. I don't think there was I think this might have been the second montage.
This is the second one.
But there were several scenes like that where it's just like we're going to cut something really fast, and it's going to, like you said, it's going to look like a 30-second sizzle reel, and it's going to get a bunch of stuff done. I don't mind because I think it does. I think one of the later ones especially throws a bunch of good references at me, so I was happy with that.
I just despite how fast the movie goes, it's not the end of the world. I want to stress. I do think the movie stalls a bit whenever it does something like this, where it's like I want to move on to the next beat with something that's a little more serving to the plot, rather than this is just random action bit and then something entirely separate will move along.
We don't go from action. I wonder if that helps break up the monotony, because if we were going from action to action or touching scene to touching scene, it might feel like, oh, well, this is starting to feel like it's dragging on. So I wonder if that's why they did that. And that's why, like you said, where they cut certain things in.
I do think, and I say this with not really any sort of like backing on it, it's just what I feel at the end of the day. That I think, I'm not exactly sure who would I blame or at least highlight for this. Like executives, Hollywood, and that sort of shit, they're scared to slow down. Now, I'm not entirely sure if that's just a generational thing. Again, I'm 38, turning 39 this year, and you are approaching
48 later, a couple months.
We are not children. That is the bottom line where we're getting out here, and we don't know exactly what it's like for kids today as when we were kids.
Yeah, with their fried attention spans and their click clocks.
And they say clocks are going out of style.
Yeah, exactly.
I can go back to a family movie of when I was a kid, and it doesn't move nearly as fast as this movie does. I think, and I absorb it just fine. There are still movies that, I go the tried and true like reference to pull from is the Disney Renaissance stuff, and it depends on the franchise. Obviously, you would say something like Aladdin is definitely zanier and faster moving than the Lion King. But I still deeply enjoyed those movies because they're not so in your face and rapid fire.
Yeah.
Which again,
which just to me tells me it's a different kind of movie.
Yeah.
I think the closest analog to something like the Galaxy movie or that kind of movie, if we're going with Disney, would probably be something like Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah.
Where it is much more of a comedy.
Yes,
most Disney movies are trying to tell you a good story and they're throwing some jokes in there.
Yeah.
When you go back and you watch like the legacy stuff, the sort of Renaissance, right?
Yeah.
The
Little Mermaid.
You're Aladdin, Little Mermaid, all of that. And then you go to something like I said, Emperor's New Groove, and there's a joke a second.
It's way faster.
There's a joke every 10, 15 seconds, and it's silly, and it's ridiculous, and the jokes are the point. There is a story in Emperor's New Groove, but the jokes are the point.
That is primarily a comedy movie.
Yeah.
And I think it lands on that because I think what helps is that the jokes are funny. Like that's what it is. Like it helps because the jokes are well written and there's a lot of nuance and layers to the writing that makes it fun to rewatch.
Yeah.
We described this movie, the Galaxy movie, to go back to it, as something that is also primarily a comedy, but I also think it is also an action movie too. At the end of the day,
yes,
so, like it is an
very much an action.
It is an
movie.
Action adventure movie. They, on top of like all the little tidbits and character references and that sort of thing, it also like it wants to move along just because it wants to keep it kinetic.
Yeah,
I think is a way of putting it. And I feel it doesn't land the same way as something that's thoughtfully written out because it just serves to visually stimulate.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that, but I do feel that when you have it repeatedly within the same movie, the same set piece, I go back to the obstacle course stuff.
Yeah.
It does get samey. And I feel at some point or other I'm asking, can we move along? Because there's one really glaring one that we'll get later. You probably know which one I'm talking about.
I think I do because I heard some people talking about a different one.
Yeah.
And there's two scenes.
We're about to get to it.
Yeah.
Because,
you're right.
We're actually about to get to it.
Okay. So Bowser Jr. I think this is the point where he takes the castle.
He takes the castle.
So he cuts the castle out of the ground, pulls it up, which was kind of a weird thing to have to do because
he did it in Galaxy.
Yeah. Because he did it in Galaxy. So that's when he confronts them about releasing Bowser.
Yeah.
And I forget what the sequence of events is, but then the castle falls.
Yeah. So in after the end result of Mario and Luigi doing their thing, they meet up with Bowser, who has been captured and minified.
The castle crashes.
Yeah.
Castle crashers.
Yeah.
Not sponsored. And then at the end of all of it, the little tiny Bowser, because he's still small right now. He's still. By the way, I don't know why that didn't free him. But because he's under the influence of the blue mushroom, so he's stuck small. Yeah. So you get a great sequence there. We also skipped the part earlier where we first see him, which I thought was hilarious. The whole thing with him in the little castle, and he goes through like the rage fits, and he's just working through my demons. Yeah. Like I think that was hilarious.
Not to mention, it's like again. To go into the aesthetic and the animation, the bit moments where he gets fucking grim serious, like I'll rip your flesh off.
Yeah, you are kind of concerned.
Like you freeze frame that as like holy shit.
Yeah,
like he's going to kill Mario.
I could see little kids being afraid.
Yes, and that's good because Bowser should instill fear.
And I heard that there were kids that were afraid of Yoshi.
You know,
when he's trapped in the pipe and it's kind of scary?
Are you really a Mario fan if you haven't had your pants shit when you saw Giga Bowser the first time in Melee? I think all kids should have the fear of God put into them by witnessing a very, very scary Bowser. So Bowser Jr. He comes with a giant UFO, and they're hijacking the castle because the idea is that's where Bowser's being held captive, and then he's gonna go rescue his dad because that's who he cares about at the end of the day. It doesn't exactly work because like how do they escape actually?
The castle crashes. I forget exactly what it was that causes the ship to let go.
Yeah.
But it does all come down, and then that's where now they're walking without the castle. Like they have no idea what to do. They don't know where they are.
Yeah.
There's a weird time difference there because the whole sequence was like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And the castle's just going up, and then when they crash, they're on a completely different planet.
Yes.
So however the hell they got to where they were going.
Like,
would you love me if I was still a wormhole? So they end up on this planet, and I think this was the moment of what I would call the most pointless moment of the movie.
Okay.
When they go to see Queen Bee.
Okay.
Yes, I think that was this moment.
It is
here.
just the whole point of it is so that Bowser is separated from the gang, so he could be rescued by Bowser Jr.
Yeah, and then he instigates Mario.
Yeah.
Mario ends up stomping him, which undoes the blue mushroom.
Yeah.
So then he grows into big size Bowser, but he's still friends with them.
Yeah.
Because
he actually like has genuine like camaraderie with Luigi.
Yeah, he has he's really his friend, and who knows what he's gonna feel with Yoshi. So so that's when we get to the Queen Bee Galaxy, and they're going to capture them all. And then Bowser steps up and says that I'll stay in their place. You send them to the Gateway Galaxy.
Yeah.
Which I love that moment. I do like that. I like this idea that we're moving towards the Bowser that is friends with everybody, the Bowser that shows up to the party, the Bowser that shows up to go karting. Like this is the Bowser that I would like for us to eventually get to.
Yeah.
And so I enjoyed that scene. I thought that was fun. The Queen Bee being there was just wildly pointless.
Again, it's because she's a character
that
from
is
Mario
a
Galaxy.
If you want to complain about references in this kind of a movie, in a movie that's going to be full of references, don't complain about the stuff in the background. Complain about a giant character that took up 4 minutes of screen time and then
not even. I think
it was like 2 minutes at the most.
Yeah.
And then there's no bearing on the story whatsoever because immediately after when Bowser is doing all the work, Bowser Jr. shows up and takes him away.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, we just
you
don't serve.
You could have, because now you're saying that out loud. You could have absolutely removed the whole point, like the whole sequence of them, the castle separating, them landing. Then
Bowser Jr. still chases them.
Yeah.
He's still after them. He grabs Bowser.
Punches him, makes him big.
Yeah, and then goes away, and then there you go, and then that's the whole sequence.
Yeah.
I think the only purpose of that sequence is that it gets them to the Gateway Galaxy.
There's two things. There's two things when you have time to reflect. There's two things. One is just that it's to get in this. I guess prolong the movie just a little bit, but it does serve to demonstrate that there is an uneasy alliance between Bowser, Mario, and Luigi, where it's like Bowser is genuinely, as genuinely as he can say, trying to make amends for the shit that he pulled in the first movie.
Yeah.
Because at the end, cause I remember seeing some complaints to, like, especially in the beginning bit where Bowser's doing his painting, and Mario was kind of a dick to him. And it's like, Peach has nothing to do with you and that sort of shit. People would give Mario shit for that.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. It's like, he's kind of mean.
But he was the villain.
But it was like, but Bowser tried to have these guys killed in that first one.
Yeah.
He literally kidnapped his brother Luigi, and he was going to fucking boil him alive in lava. It's like, you don't just immediately forget that. So I
got 40 years of games for why Mario is pissed off.
And that sort of shit. But it's supposed to demonstrate that Bowser, for all of his warts, he is trying to be a better individual, for as much as that means in this movie. But either way, he becomes normal sized again. Bowser Jr. is able to capture him, or at least rescue him.
Rescue him,
and that leaves Mario and Luigi and Yoshi stranded. Or at least
no. Well, now they're going to the Gateway Galaxy because he rescued him. Bowser Jr. rescued Bowser from the bees.
Yeah.
So at this point, they're already on their way to the Gateway Galaxy.
Okay.
That's when they get there, and that's when. So by the time they get to the Gateway Galaxy, we've already had the Gateway Galaxy moment with Peach.
Okay.
They get to the Gateway Galaxy. Well, Mario and Luigi and the gang, they're on their way to the Gateway Galaxy. So then on Peach's end, they have already gotten there. So then we have my favorite cameo of the movie, which was Rob. The Rob cameo was my favorite gag. Because first of all, it's Rob. I like Rob. I'm a fan of the robot.
Ironically, just enjoy that robot.
Yeah, I just enjoy the robot. I like the character he has. I like the story behind him. But they made a joke out of the fact that the actual toy moves dirt slow. And a lot of people said that, oh, well, it's the recycled sloth scene from Zootopia. I don't care.
Yeah,
it is hilarious.
Also,
it was
I'm pretty sure
the
the sloth joke in Zootopia was not the first instance of the sloth joke in Zootopia.
It was funny then. It's funny now. Yeah. I think it was such a great joke. I love how they were just everybody was getting pissed off. Yeah. Just slowly but surely, it was just like, okay, oh my God, stop. Yeah. And then they do it again when Mario gets there.
Yeah.
But this was when we got the big moment. This was the introduction of the big character when Peach and the gang were at the Gateway Galaxy. They're looking for a way to get to the space junk
galaxy.
The space junk galaxy.
Space junk as well.
And that's where they run into Fox McCloud.
Yeah.
Which was
Which is funny because you're going into that. I think was that after the Hort sequence. Because they go into the
that's right. I'm sorry.
This is how fast the movie moves.
I'm sorry, you're right.
Yeah.
They get to the Gateway Galaxy. Someone steals their backpack.
Yeah, the monkey,
Ukiki monkey.
Yeah,
steals the backpack, heads over to the casino.
Yeah,
and then that's where you get every Mario 2 reference.
Yeah,
that they
like
can throw
all
at
at
you.
once.
They're all in there
all at once.
So you get in there, and it's Luis Guzman, who was Wart, was fantastic.
Yeah,
and
a good choice for the role.
Yeah, I thought he was great for that. You've got Birdo, you've got Mauser. And then you've got Claw Grip.
Yeah.
Claw Grip was there.
Yeah.
No Tri-Cloud.
No Tri-Cloud. Yeah, you're right.
No Fry Guy.
At least there was no Fry Guy and there was no At least I don't think there was. Again, because the movie is so saturated with background elements, especially in the casino planet. Because oh my god, it is a visual assault.
Because even the walls are floors.
Yeah,
and even the ceiling is floors.
Yeah,
and so
because it's in reference to in the Galaxy games, and I think Odyssey had it too. No, 3D World, I think.
3D World, I think,
had the cube levels where like the walls were just a continuation of the level itself. It's like gravity gets all weird.
Oh yeah, because then the pipes that that whole thing was modeled by 3D World because it was the clear glass pipes.
That's right.
I believe that the map that Rob is in front of that he's going to point to, I think that is the map from 3D World.
I don't remember
like the pathing of the pipes.
Yeah.
So then they end up in the Mario 2 casino, basically, because that whole game was casino themed for some reason.
The bonus game.
The bonus game was, and so they get there, and then you get another big action set piece. You get the fight, which goes on through all of them. If you wanted to flesh them out, it's okay, but at the same time, I was fine with how they did this. And then this is what eventually put them back to the spaceport. I think they leave from here. Also, for you weirdos out there, we also got Giant Peach.
Yeah. I know. As soon as she got the super machine, she became again. She just gets a little taller. That's all it is. So she just gets bigger. It was like I know people are gonna have a fucking.
They're gonna lose it.
So I got to mute more accounts on my Blue Sky.
Yeah. So you got that, and then you got Penguin Toad.
Yeah.
So
that isn't as interesting as Big Peach.
Yeah. They beat their asses, and then they take off. They get their backpack back.
They get their backpack back, and they're back in the gateway terminal.
Yeah, now they're going.
But again, that kind of
they're headed to the spaceport.
That kind of goes in. So the point of it is that they have a destination because they learn that from Wart. Because Peach essentially strong arms him to reveal the location.
Yeah, great end of that fight, by the way. Because at the end of Mario 2, you have to throw turnips into his mouth.
Yeah,
and then that's how she stops him. And then they even incorporate the bubbles that he blows out.
Yeah.
He just kind of blows them out as he's talking. Yeah. So good job there. Good job of the bunch of the references
absolutely. There. And the turnip didn't come from him like his own dream machine.
Yeah.
That wasn't his own dream machine.
No.
Like
the machine spit out the vegetables. He spit out the bubbles.
The bubbles, yeah. Because the machine, I think, was actually helping you. Yeah. That's why it's giving you that sort of thing.
And then it had you had the ninjas. All the ninjas came out.
Yeah.
Which is very cool. I like the ninjas in this movie because it looks like they're wearing pajamas.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like they just have black skin. They textured all of the cloth so it looks like that, which immediately made me question: are the ninjas actually fallen Lumas? Are they evil Lumas who wear little costumes to hide their light so that they're more sneaky?
I mean, you can read that in the context of the movie. Sure.
I don't
think that's what
I don't know.
Fourth dimensional.
Yeah. So this is where paths converge because while they're there looking for a ride, this is where Mario and Luigi show up because they get there at around the same time.
Yeah.
This is where
very unceremonious.
Yeah, it was really it was a big sort of, oh, here we are.
Yeah,
we're okay. Hey, you guys left. Like, okay. Yeah, because at this point, Peach doesn't really know that they left the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah.
They didn't send her a letter. She thinks that she's out there on her own.
Yeah.
So they meet up at the spaceport, and you get obviously a bunch of references in the background. I think you would have probably seen the biggest one for us, which is Samus's gunship. It is back there. There are actually a couple moments where you see it. When you first see the spaceport, it's really small on the lower left side of the screen. And I couldn't tell, but my Metroid brain said, I think that's the gunship. And then later you see it take off, and it's definitely the Super Metroid gunship, by the way. It was not one of the later ones.
Because it's the most iconic one.
Yeah, there was a purple ship, and a lot of people thought that was her ship from Fusion.
Yeah.
It was not that. I looked at it again today, and it didn't feel like that was it. But the orange gunship was absolutely hers.
Yeah, like, it's one of those things about the movie that, you know, obviously you have like the more prolific Nintendo cameos that are just put in your face.
Yeah.
There are a few blink and miss it cameos from other characters from other games. To go back to the Yoshi sequence, actually, during the montage of his tour through Brooklyn, you see someone jogging in a pink hoodie.
Okay. I didn't see that.
It's Little Mac.
I didn't see that. I know in the first movie there was a Punch Out Pizzeria.
Yeah.
So I didn't see the Little Mac. I know there was a thing with Donkey Kong. They showed like Donkey Kong fighting something. Like it was it was a blink and you miss it. And which is what prompted me to say, was he in Brooklyn or was he in New Donk City? Because there was a sort of quick Donkey Kong gag there.
Yeah. But this is probably not cameo, but like the major non-Mario character.
This is this movie's Donkey Kong.
Yes.
But Donkey Kong has a tie to Mario. Yeah. Star Fox does not.
Does not. No, not at all. And it's Fox McCloud. Like, he is he is the Han Solo of this movie. Like, he is just almost beat for beat Han Solo in this movie in terms of his purpose.
In terms of his purpose, yes. Behavior-wise, he was a lot wackier.
Yeah, he's a lot wackier.
He was a big goof.
What you gonna say?
I think he was wackier than he was in the games, right?
Is this yes and no, because like it really depends on the game, because Fox is kind of written all over the place in the Star Fox universe, where I could imagine this iteration of Fox McCloud fitting in Adventure, the GameCube game.
Okay.
And I would argue 0. Not Assault. He's kind of a bore on Assault, being honest.
Okay.
And not Command. I don't know. Maybe it depends on the ending you get. There are like 5,000 endings in that fucking game. But that said, I actually deeply enjoyed the characterization of Fox in this.
I liked him. I thought
I liked the confidence.
Yeah, he was a little silly. He was obsessed with the ship.
Yes,
which I always find fun. I don't know why. You give me a sci-fi space setting where the captain loves the ship so much. It's the most important crew member. You give me a Malcolm Reynolds from Firefly. You give me a Han Solo, like any character like that, and I'm in.
With that said, though, because they have to assume you don't know who this guy is, they give you a 30-second fucking sizzle reel of who Star Fox is, where Fox comes from, and it's like, I guess it is needed. I don't know. A part of me was also I wish they didn't tell you about that. I wish they kept this allure of mystery to him, where it's like, we as Nintendo fans know who Fox McCloud is.
Okay.
And we know the significance of him being there, because what that means for future movies. We'll get into that later. Yeah. But I wish they didn't explain who he is. Like, he is just an entity that has the ship that you need, and he will get you to where he goes to go. Like, you know, and if you're going to explain about who he is, that's when you do a separate movie. And I realize I'm kind of defeating my argument here when I'm saying this. They probably would never do that, because I don't think a Star Fox movie would ever do nearly as well as a Mario movie, for one thing. But you have to set him up in a larger. I think the reason why they do this in the first place, at least I would think they did, is that you have to make the audience give a shit about this character.
Yeah.
Even if the sizzle reel itself, the montage, does nothing to really explain who Fox is. It's just where he comes from.
Which I think helps, though. Like you said, you kind of wish they kept it a mystery. See, I think it is still a mystery. I think that all of the details that he threw out there were vague enough that if you made a story, if you wrote an entire movie about it, you'd be able to tell that story and not have the viewer feel like they know what's going to happen. Yeah, like it is interesting, and we as fans, we understand it a little bit better. Like I don't have a ton of Star Fox game experience, but I know enough about the world to understand that there's a whole separate group of people. They don't really go into the story of Andros. They don't talk about Wolf. Like there's more story in Starlink than there is in this.
Retroactively, though, as a casual Star Fox fan, the whole reason Fox is in this Mario universe in the first place is elaborated on. Something went haywire, snafu in his universe, and he was caught in a space-time portal.
Yeah, his engine blew up and it caused a wormhole, or he fell into a wormhole, or for whatever reason.
He blamed Slippy.
Yeah,
it was a very racist moment.
Yeah,
for the
which
character.
is great because what does he say? That's what happens when you make a frog your engineer, and then it's like a quick quippy. Is it Slippy in the bottom?
Yeah,
like,
it's also like you dick.
That's kind of good.
Like, he built you those things, but it's like Slippy did not deserve that. But anyway. So I retroactively like to look at it as, they finally gave a good ending to the Out of This Dimension level from Star Fox on the SNES.
Maybe they explain why we haven't gotten a Star Fox game in forever. He hasn't been here.
Because they haven't thought of a way to reboot the series again.
Oh, okay. All right. So Star Fox falls into a wormhole at some point during the first game on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Which is why they just keep rehashing the first story over and over again for Star Fox games. Because he's not there to make new adventures.
But in the original game, one of the secret levels that you can run into is called Out of This Dimension. It's a very trippy galaxy. Like
that's sort of
with like the faces for the planets. The boss is a slot machine, which is from a casino, which is in the Gateway Galaxy.
Right.
And that's
Star Fox was in Mario too.
That said, very depressing ending because Fox is just trapped there.
Yeah.
Because the game, after you beat the slot machine, the game ends. The credits roll, and
and
Fox is all alone.
Yeah, and that's kind of where he is here.
Yeah.
Unless that's going to be the Star Fox movie, it's going to be him in this.
Nothing would make me happier, whether it's in the a separate Star Fox movie itself or in the third movie. That is where they go. Like he comes from out of this dimension. He finally found a way to get out, and he ended up in Mario's universe instead. Because I always really liked how otherworldly that secret level felt in the Super Nintendo game, but it was also very depressing because it was also like he's stranded here. Yeah, because he has no friends. Like there's no friends around him. The last thing he hears before going there is General Pepper saying, "Fox, where are you? Like we need you to defend the Lilac system."
This is his -1.
Yeah, exactly.
This is his -1 world,
and it's like he's just for the rest of his life trapped there. But it's like, oh no, like now you can retroactively look. This like Fox is now like in the Mario universe. Like okay, at least he could talk to somebody.
And now we know that wormholes get you from other universes to this one.
Yeah.
So we can get started on the Smash Bros. Movie.
Yeah, which is like that's the one thing. And I know for a fact they're alluding to that because immediately after Fox is introduced and he becomes acquaintance with Peach, that's when Mario shows up. Yeah, and they reunite, and there is a moment where Mario and Fox exchange stares, and it's like it alludes to like. It's like, are you going to be trouble or are you going to be trouble? But then Mario compliments his ride and then Fox compliments his mustache. Yeah. But it's like the only reason why you'd have that stare down in the first place is because folks are anticipating a Smash sort of encounter.
Well, I'm gonna add to that.
Go ahead.
Because when he takes them, when they all load into the R-Wing, by the way, the R-Wing holds more than one person now.
It's got a bitch seat.
It has like two sides where you could have a bunch of people.
You could ride bitch in the R-Wing.
There is, like you said, there's a little bit of a stare down between him and Fox, and then they exchange pleasantries. When they're getting into the ship, the entire time in the beginning sequence when Mario and Luigi are the handyman and they're fixing everything, every time they fix something, they do the fist bump. Yeah. Right? They do the...
Yeah.
When they're getting into the ship, Luigi goes to the fist bump and Mario doesn't give him one.
Ooh.
He doesn't give him one. He's looking at Fox.
Yeah.
And then he says something like, it's really cool, and that's when Fox says, oh, I like this guy. And then I think Luigi gives him another look. So it almost seemed like they were setting up this sort of animosity between Luigi, like, hey, you're moving in on my brother / best friend. And then it doesn't become anything. Yeah, unless it's going to be a setup for later where you say that, oh, Luigi has this problem with Fox because he's interfering with his brothership. Yeah. And then that is what kicks off. Like, now they have a rivalry for the Smash Bros. Movie.
Which I don't think that's what they're doing. I think it was just a slight on against Luigi.
Yeah, it was a really weird sequence. I didn't notice it the first time, and when I saw it the second time, I went, oh, he went to go and fist bump him, and Mario didn't give him one.
Yeah.
And then he kind of made a face and then sat down. So I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Settle it in Smash.
Yeah. So then this is when they leave, and this is when you really find out that they can breathe in space. Yeah. Because the passenger seats don't have a cockpit. Yeah. It's not a covered thing.
Just that ass out on the open. Yeah. So thanks to Fox McCloud and his R-Wing, Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Toad, and Yoshi are able to get to where they need to go. They're able to fly to their destination, but do they fly to where Rosalina's at, or are they going straight, or does Bowser Jr. intercept them?
He intercepts them. Their intention is to get to the space junk galaxy, which is the Bowser world now. Yeah, because I was thinking of the later scene. I forget exactly what interrupts them, but they end up crashing, which is hilarious because Star Fox crashes on a dinosaur planet.
There's several things I want to say about this.
No. Okay, wait, because this is when Bowser Jr. shows up, and he shoots them with what I believe is a wildly obscure reference.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about because I saw it first.
He grabs the Super Scope and he shoots Mario and Luigi. Bowser defends them because he doesn't want Bowser Jr. to kill them. So he shoots them with the gun that turns Mario and Luigi into babies, and then drops the gun.
They de-evolve.
They de-evolve. So then he drops the gun. So when they fall to the planet, they fall down with the Devo gun, and they end up on the planet. So now Fox is obsessing over the ship. Peach is pissed off. She's kicking rocks, literally, and they're trying to figure out what they're going to do. All while they've got Baby Mario and Baby Luigi. Hats off to you, Illumination, for not throwing in the babies crying from Yoshi's Island.
Yeah, it would
be a great reference, but I can't stand it.
Not even that. It's like there was prime opportunity, and they don't do it. Like actually, like where you can do the lowest fucking denominator humor. Like you can do baby crying, pissing, shitting, farting, and that's what because they're babies. They don't do that at all. And actually, it was kind of pleasant, because it's like I don't mind gross out humor. Like in sparsely, but it's also like I don't really find that funny anymore.
Yeah, well, I was just concerned with the baby crying sound from Yoshi Island. I didn't want them to do that.
Granted,
sound.
Because Bowser's interference, Bowser Jr. instead de-ages the characters. And they crash land because they are wearing Rex, and they're now stranded on this planet again, on a different planet. They're repeating the same beat from last time. This is actually my least favorite sequence.
This is where if it's a fun sequence, but this was where the movie kind of dragged. This whole
sequence with the babies and Yoshi. Obviously, it's in respects to Yoshi's Island. That's the only reason why it's there. It's just to give Yoshi something to do, because otherwise, this entire sequence serves nothing.
Yeah, because I talked about the Queen Bee scene. At least that's how they get to the Gateway Galaxy. Like there is, even if I think that the character there is pointless, there was a purpose to the scene that they needed in order to move the story forward. This, I don't believe, moves the story forward at all.
At all. No.
I think they get away, like they have the fun situation that happens, and then I think they get back to the ship, and then
it's all fine.
It's fine. I think they hook up the gun to use it or something. I don't know what they do, but they get going.
If there was something to focus on to make this scene worth it, it is not entirely focused at all, because what this should have been, this sequence should have been about Peach reminiscing, because she stays with Fox to help try and repair the R-Wing, which I guess she has a degree of engineering. Princess has her hobbies and shit like that. But that is set up, and then immediately it's just the Yoshi's Island stuff immediately. And then when we come back, Fox is in disarray, and Peach is so frustrated because it's like, we can't get this thing fixed.
Yeah,
but it's like,
she's just angry about everything going on.
This should have been the down period. This is where Peach should have had a moment with Fox. Otherwise, I don't really go.
Okay.
But this should have been Peach's moment, where she is just reflecting on who she is, who she realizes where she comes from. To give,
letting it all settle in.
We've
been moving a mile a minute, and we see that as a moviegoer. But from her perspective, she's also been moving a mile a minute. Again, she left. She didn't really leave with a whole lot of warning. She didn't know that the Mario gang was going to be there. All of this stuff has been coming as fast as it's been hitting us. It's been hitting them. So there is a moment where it should have been a slowdown moment. And like you said, it should have been a time for a little bit of reflection. Maybe they have some conversations. She talks about how mad she is about everything. And then maybe Fox tells her, listen, I've been stuck in this galaxy in this universe for who knows how long. Blah, blah. Like, you could have had a moment there. Is this the moment where you thought that if the movie had slowed down, we would have gotten something better?
I think if the movie would have slowed down, it would have gotten something better. But also, they didn't need the baby stuff. I do not think you needed the baby stuff at all. It is I do appreciate the 93 movie reference because that it has to be.
Yeah. So for us to explain the reference, which we're not sure. Apparently the somebody that is involved with the movie did like the 93 movie.
Yeah.
So there is a possibility that this was the thing.
Yeah.
In the 93 movie, there is the super scope that Bowser uses. King Koopa. And he uses it to de-evolve characters. He does it to Scapelli, I think. It turns him into a monkey. So in this movie, it's a super scope, and it turns him into babies.
Yeah.
And yes, when I first saw it, my immediate thought was, is that supposed to be a 93 Mario reference?
Yeah.
There's another part to it.
Yeah.
Because they get chased by a T-Rex, which is very much an Odyssey reference.
Yeah.
But
also,
again,
it's also a Universal reference because they just the
T-Rex running. Kind of bummed out that they didn't have a puddle of water and do the ripples on the water.
Yeah.
But again, this is also
the T-Rex also just has the T-Rex roar.
Yeah, like it's just a straight up T-Rex. Yeah, you're right. It's the same exact roar from Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
So again, Star Fox lands on Dinosaur Planet.
Yeah.
Look up that reference if you need to. And when they use the gun on Toad, who is the first time we saw Baby Toad.
Yeah, exactly.
This is our introduction to Baby Toad. And then they use it on the T-Rex.
Yeah.
Which turns him into a little T-Rex, which is what Yoshi was in the 93 movie.
Yeah.
He was a real little dinosaur.
Yeah.
So when I first
not to
saw
mention King Koopa in the 93 movie evolved from the T-Rex.
Oh yeah.
Like he is I remember because when they did the Devo gun at the end,
when he starts turning into a sort of T-Rexy
into the T-Rex before he becomes Goop.
So I don't know if it was a deliberate reference.
It has to be
but
deliberate.
It was. There's definitely a 6 degrees there that you can play and get all the way back around to. That is a sort of double, triple reference,
which is not unappreciated. I want to stress.
Oh yeah. We're just pointing it out
because I unironically like the 93 movie.
Yeah, I'm fine with that movie.
But at the same time, the baby sequence with Yoshi serves nothing.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun sequence, which is why I don't really have a problem with it, because I feel like at this point in the movie, you've had so many moments of it's just fun.
Yeah. How many can you have?
Yeah. How many are you going to need?
This movie is nothing but theme park attraction.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
It is. Well, I've been using the term junk food.
Yes.
I keep using the term junk food. It's bright, it's colorful, it's sugary, it's nonsense.
It makes for a great Instagram short.
Yeah. Is it if you ever seen Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
The reimagining.
The Johnny Depp one.
The Johnny Depp one. Okay.
There's a great moment in there where they're whipping the cows and they're making whipped cream.
Yeah.
And the girl says that doesn't make any sense, and he says it's not supposed to make sense. It's candy.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I look at movies like this, where it's nonsense.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be nonsense. Yeah. And I went into it knowing that it was going to be nonsense. So my biggest gripe with the whole dinosaur sequence there with the babies was just that it was slow. I didn't really think it was as interestingly kinetic as the rest of the movie was. Yeah. It was a very plain setting for where we were. I think it's the most basic setting in the movie, and it wasn't atrocious or anything. It didn't ruin the movie, but there was a part that was just like, okay, let's get out of here. We're good.
I feel I've gained nothing from.
Yeah, we got the joke, we got the baby Toad, we got the little multi-stage reference.
Then it doesn't affect anything.
Yeah, and then we just take off.
Yeah, I think it's just that it's most egregious because it literally affects nothing in the plot.
Yeah,
it is a sequence. Move on. Never mention it again. Although it did give me a good follow-up from Luigi in terms of like the humor, but it was like because after they become adults again, it's like all the scary thoughts in my head just go away.
Just go away. It's like, okay, wait. So maybe that's something he's gonna do on purpose later.
That's it. I like that. Like that's adult comedy. I appreciate.
Yeah.
But okay, so they're restored to normal. The R-wing is fixed. Well, no, because they're always not fixed because they managed to get to the Comet Observatory.
No, the Comet Observatory comes to them.
Yes.
This is when we find out that it's got a fighter pilot mode. Yeah. Because it pulls in. Great shot, by the way.
Yeah.
This is weird to say, but because you had the horizon behind them, it wasn't really. It was shot in a way that it was shot in a way that it was relative, like the ground was relatively close. So then when you see it, it comes from the sky and it gets really big as it pulls in. And I don't know, there was just something visual about that scene that I just thought, wow, that looks great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then the Lumas show up and they're ready to go. You get a great Star Fox moment because they've got all the Star Fox jackets, and they say the phrase. What's the like for the team is go, like Star Fox team is go, or something like that.
I believe so.
Yeah, so they say the phrase, and Fox is like, he's got the pose, and he does the like, cool.
Like, like he does like this little shot, like this triumphant pose shot.
Yeah, he
with
does the big
Lumas
pose
in the background,
and then he acknowledges,
which is a raw shot.
Yeah,
like,
it's a great shot. And then he acknowledges how cool it was. Reminds me of Death the Kid. From Soul Eater, that he just like he needs to have all the poses down perfectly and stuff. So then they get back into the observatory, and then that's where they go. And now they're going to go.
They're going
now they're going to go
to the final level.
Yeah, now which it's time. Like you said, it's time for the final level. It's time for the final confrontation. When all of this is over, I was shocked that the movie was over.
Yes, the movie just ends.
Yeah. Now they're making the beeline to the Space Junk Galaxy. I believe that's what it was called.
Yeah.
And
Bowser's
World.
Fortress,
At this point it's Bowser World.
Yeah.
So this is when they're like crashing into all the ships and stuff, which I appreciate. I thought that was a lot of fun. Again, probably one of the last action sequences in the movie, because at this point we've had 10 of them.
Yeah.
And
it's our last again, sizzle reel is what I call it.
Yeah.
Where it's Mario characters going through an obstacle course just like they do.
Yeah.
And,
crashing.
But if in case if it wasn't obvious enough, and I gotta be that cynical dickhead, they're going to intersplice 8-bit Mario footage.
Oh, well, this is a little bit later. So that's when they're doing, so they get there and then they get separated, I believe, and I think that's when this happens.
Yeah, well, it's Mario and Peach.
Yeah, it's Mario and Peach go down, and then they go through what is effectively Mario Maker.
Yes,
this is the big Mario Maker thing.
Courtesy of Bowser Jr.
Yeah, so he's like setting all the traps. He's doing it as they're moving through the hallway, so everything is popping up. It looks really cool. Kind of wish he was using the gamepad. Yeah, I kind of wish he was using the Wii U gamepad for that with the stylus. But it's just a basic machine. And at this point, we've had the heel turn for Bowser.
Yeah.
There has been the big speech moment where he's back and he decides he's going to be evil.
Yeah.
Or is at least going to be the bad guy.
At least, yeah, because it's actually kind of confusing.
Didn't like this turn.
So the thing we're not really talking about, or brush aside because the movie moves so fast, is the Bowser and Bowser Jr. dichotomy.
Oh, yes.
And because Bowser Jr. is introduced as someone that wants to rescue his dad because, he's his son. Yeah. That sort of thing. But then, like, Bowser is shocked to learn that his son, like, wants to rescue him, which means, like, like a strained relationship, that sort of thing. And you find out that Bowser sent him to boarding school. Yeah. Which, normally that sets up as, like, he doesn't really...
Yeah, like he's a bad kid or something like that. But then it's Bowser, so what does that even mean?
Like, he's either a bad kid or Bowser's neglectful.
Yeah.
But then when the two rendezvous, when Bowser Jr. rescues Bowser, he has nothing but admiration for the guy. Yeah. So it's like, okay, so clearly it wasn't a strained relationship. So maybe it's just Bowser sending him to boarding school because, like, I have other plans, but I can't have you here because you're a distraction, I guess. But then they go into, like, the flashbacks, and obviously it's heartwarming shit because Bowser, he's a good dad. He threw puppet shows for Bowser Jr. But I would say, like, heinous, like, world domination shit. We're gonna train the life out of this lady and like rule the universe and that sort of thing. But still, it's very appreciated, needed, endearing moment for the characters. But after everything that happened with the first movie, and because they set up that Bowser is, honest to God, trying to turn a new leaf as much as he can, there is hesitancy in his actions because he doesn't want to kill Mario and Luigi. Yeah,
he's now befriended them. Yeah. I mean, and Peach is also there. Like when the whole turning them into babies thing happens, that happens because Bowser Jr. is going to destroy them. But then Bowser says, I don't want to kill them. I've gotten to know them. So then he switches to the baby thing. But Peach is still there. Like Peach is still in danger by attacking them, which kind of bothered me with the whole heel turn to say, oh, never mind, I'm going to be a bad guy. But you're still, I don't know. I feel like I feel like the movie did some work to set up his, again, the version of Bowser that comes to the Mario parties. But now we just don't have that anymore.
Yeah. I think it's because they just didn't, maybe they thought that Bowser Jr. individually wouldn't be an effective villain.
I don't know.
Because maybe that's the thing. It's like, no, it's like Bowser and Bowser Jr. are a dynamic. Just like they're the Mario and Luigi of the Bowser Kingdom. They need to work together, but it's like it comes at the cost of having a very confusing arc for Bowser.
Which is ironic because I think there was an easier way to do that. I think you already had all the pieces there. You already had him sticking up for Mario and Luigi, trying not to get them blown up. All you had to do was you have a good relationship with him and his son.
Yeah.
So that's a good relationship. There's no problem there. All you really had to do was to have Bowser help Bowser Jr., not directly because he doesn't want to hurt them, until there's a moment where Bowser Jr. is basically defeated or he's going to be defeated. And Bowser looks at him and he says, I won't let that happen. So then that's where he ends up on the bridge where he's fighting him with the axe. Great Mario 1 reference. And that to me was interesting because I feel like you didn't have to have the early turn. I feel like you didn't need to have the moment where he says, oh, I'm going to be a bad guy again. I feel like you could have left that sort of ambiguous. Like, is he a bad guy? Is he really starting to reform? And then have the reason that he turns on Mario and Luigi to be, oh, he was just sticking up for his son.
Yeah.
His son has been backing him the whole time. He brought him up there, and then he made him give this whole big speech because his son still thinks his dad is the guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's still the boss. So I feel like you could have just left the earlier stuff out and then had it that, oh, I see my son is suffering because he's losing. I don't want to let that happen. Let's be evil.
Yeah.
And then you fight on the bridge, and then he gets dropped in, and
which is like, again, like this goes into like you were talking about like the whole Bowser Bridge stuff is like it's great and it's like and it is, but fuck, man, I wish they stopped treating kids like idiots, because it's like, so the thing about the last obstacle course sequence, I guess, is that they are constantly switching between the CGI stuff and the cute Mario thing. It's like
everything that's happening on the screen.
You get it?
Yeah.
Like, you get it? This
it's
is
Mario
what is happening.
Maker,
so it's like, okay, like it's fine enough if it stopped there, but then it ends with Mario and Peach. They're on the bridge. There's an axe. Bowser's on the other side. I know exactly what this is in reference to.
This is
Everybody knows what this is in reference to. But then the fucking bridge cuts out, and then for a brief fucking second, it cuts back to the Mario Maker stuff where you see the 8-bit Bowser falling. It's like, I got that.
Like, I get it.
I got that. Please. Kids are not fucking idiots. Like, I understand it's like you gotta spoon feed some shit. I understand, but it's like, god damn it, guys.
I don't know.
A little faith in us.
I didn't mind it too much. I thought that it was Mario level ends when you beat Bowser.
Yeah.
Like that to me, I didn't mind it. I kind of wish that at some point he grabbed a flag or something. Like I do kind of wish that there was
thing. Like
but at the Bowser thing, so like Bowser doesn't end until Bowser goes into lava. So I wasn't really too bothered by that. I was kind of curious how they were going to get out of that one, and then it took me a second to realize, okay. I thought back to earlier, because there's a scene earlier when they first get to the planet and they're looking at the roller coaster. Yeah. And the roller coaster is full of Koopas, and they go down into the lava. When they come back up, they're all dry bones, but they're happy.
Yeah.
So it took me a second. And I went, oh my god,
so that is the movie, like in the movie itself, establishing that can happen.
that's how it happens. That they catch fire and their flesh melts off.
It's rapidly established, but it is something that is known like in that universe. But at the same time, this is something, again, Mario fans can piece together. Yeah. Everyone knows that Bowser going into lava is not the end of him. Because there is a dry bones variant of Bowser that has been a thing since Mario Kart Double Dash, I want to say. Or at the very least, new Super Mario Bros.
New, I think, was the first time you drop him in, and then he comes back as dry Bowser.
Yeah. Which is like a really striking moment, like in the original game.
So ironically, to say that the bridge fight is a Mario 1 reference, is a Super Mario 1 reference, it is actually more accurate to say that it's a new Super Mario reference. Yeah. Because of how it progresses. Yes. He's got the double axes, and he fights, and then he falls, and then he comes back as Dry Bowser. Yeah. If you want to piece all of that as one lump sum, that is a new Super Mario reference.
Yes.
So it was pretty
Which is
cool.
weird to say because New Super Mario Bros. Was already a big reference to the original game.
Yeah.
Anyway. So it's kind of
and
like
it sucks. What? Who said that? A lot of people talking.
It must have been Box McCloud.
A lot of people saying things.
So Bowser is dunked into the lava. He comes back as Dry Bowser. I'm kind of happy they went there because it's like, the fact that that they kind of go there was like, oh fuck, Bowser I think Bowser just died.
Yeah.
But no, he comes back and now he has it's one of my favorite shots. This actually is like he comes back.
Ooh.
Like he is the Lord of Bones or something like that. He makes some sort of proclamation that's like ripped out of a fucking D&D campaign. And then Bowser Jr. like in a moment of sight, like that's my dad.
Yeah,
he puts his
and
mask
then he
on.
powers up.
And then they both like roar.
And they've got a great shot
and
with them.
That is one of my favorite shots.
Yeah, it's
like,
got a great shot with them. And then that leads into my second favorite moment of the movie, which is they get a hold of the paintbrush.
Okay.
So they do a little bit of fighting. They get a hold of the paintbrush, and then Mario tells Luigi to end it. So Luigi can't draw, and he ends up creating.
It's Mario paint, not Luigi paint.
Yeah, he ends up creating Mr. Game and Watch.
Yeah,
which was. I immediately thought it was just going to be a throwaway gag. Yeah. I thought he was going to go away, or they were going to tell him, like, get out of here, and he was going to do one of these things, and then he was going to shuffle off.
Yeah.
He ends up fighting.
Yes.
He is the one that defeats Dry Bowser.
Yes.
He smashes him and breaks him into pieces.
Uses the Judgment Hammer.
And he's doing the parachute, like he's doing that. I just thought if you were going through this movie thinking, wow, they're just beating kids over the heads with references.
Yeah.
I think that's a reference that was probably for a different group of people. That was probably for grown-ups.
That's for
and Smash fans. That was for Smash fans.
That's for Smash fans.
Because that was a terrific sequence. Yeah. I thought it was.
But it also leaves credence that I think that is what they're ultimately building up to.
Yeah.
Because it's not just Mario too, because Sonic wants to do it's also like at the raw recording is at an hour and 40 minutes, and that's our first mention of Sonic the Hedgehog, and I'm very proud
look
of
at that. Look at that.
Very proud of us. But they've made mention that their intention behind those movies and Mario, I believe, so they want to build a cinematic universe.
Yeah, of course.
They want to do the MCU.
Yeah.
And I think the Avengers equivalent of Mario is Smash Bros.
Smash Bros.
Which is like I wouldn't mind that if we can go into like the discourse of that at some point. I don't want to do it here because I feel that's an entirely different conversation.
Yeah,
but
there's people that like the idea. There's people that hate the idea.
I don't mind the idea.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
I think it's just fine too. It's but I think that is their ultimate goal at the end is not so much have a giant Mario like a hodgepodge of different because these movies are already that.
Yeah,
they've already pooled. I think from every fucking Mario game in existence in the span of 2 movies, given how breakneck the movies are. So logically, you go to other Nintendo franchises. And they've already planted the seeds. You got Rob, you have Fox, you have Game & Watch, you saw Little Mac in
Samus.
Brooklyn, you saw the Samus gunship.
Yeah, they're at this moment.
We're missing a Zelda.
At this moment, most of them are in the same. If you want to go by a real like organized story, they're in the same universe, right? I think the only one that's not actually in the universe is there was a character that I remember seeing that I was like, oh, they're probably just from something else. And Zelda, Zelda, they haven't done any Zelda references yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's speculation about whether or not they're going to be doing that, or are we going to get those? If they do, are we going to get those teasers that we were getting for the Avengers movie for Doomsday, where it's like, oh, he will be in. Yeah, Thor will return in Doomsday.
Thor's will
You're
return.
like, oh my god, it's going to be Smash reveals for the movie.
I was going to say
every month there's going to be Sonic will be in the Mario movie. Like, oh brother,
here we go.
So then you finish that fight. That's basically
that's it. That's what the movie ends.
While that's happening, Rosalina is having her energy drained. Peach goes to rescue her. They do the hand thing on the glass. It creates the cosmic power. One missed opportunity there. I thought this was kind of a bad opportunity. So when they do that, they basically terraform all of the Bowser planet. And it's all lush and green. Kind of bummed out that it wasn't the Mario face.
the Mario ship from
the Mario
Galaxy
ship
2?
from Galaxy 2 that was his face.
Yeah.
I was kind of bummed out that it didn't turn into that because they don't reference that at all.
I would have been weirded out.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I would have liked that reference.
I think terraforming Bowser's thing into like a lush green planet, I think makes sense in the context of the movie. But again, we brushed over a very important thing because of just how fucking fast this movie goes, and because we're kind of all over the place with that. We completely ignored the reason why there's an interest in the Peach and Rosalina dynamic. The whole reason why they're able to clasp their hands together and terraform the planet to make it lush and green, because in the movie continuity at the very least, I'm not entirely sure if this is what they're meaning for like the movie.
No,
you don't think so?
No.
Okay. But
there's the other theory, which is outside of the movie. There's been a different theory for a long time.
I know what you mean by that. I know what you're talking about. But like in the movie continuity, at the very least, which I honestly don't mind, if they were ever to migrate this into the game, so I would not mind at all. But Rosalina and Princess Peach are sisters.
Yeah.
Which is that's new for this movie, and I liked it. I like that.
It's an inoffensive thing to say. I mean, everybody speculated that there was some sort of relationship between them. If you were fine with that and you're mad about this, then you're just mad that it's not the relationship you thought it was.
Yeah.
But there is a relationship between them. There is a reason that they have a connection to each other, and they're both princesses. So I was fine. I was fine with it. I had no problem with it.
I didn't mind
it's obvious kind of throughout the movie. They lay the groundwork a little bit earlier, and then there's Peach is surprised that the Lumas know her and have read stories about them. So they established the connection relatively early. It's not like this is the moment where you find out. We just haven't been saying it. Yeah. But so then she goes and they touch hands, because when they touch hands, they generate cosmic energy or something.
It's like when their power is on.
So they break the whole machine, and that's where they destroy everything, and you basically get the end of the movie. Almost. We're not done yet. So what do you think about just like that sequence there? Was that
again?
Fine,
it's something that I would have. I think. When
there is one more big part of the fight.
Yeah, there is. I wish the Peach and Rosalina dynamic was more of a central focus of the movie, because I feel for a movie called the Mario Galaxy movie, Rosalina is given so little screen time.
Yeah.
And again, it's the nature of the story. She is essentially the princess that is in need to be rescued, and you can't really help that. But at the same time, there is a part of me that wishes that this was strictly or solely a Princess Peach story, where it's her and no one else. Maybe she get help from Mario here and there.
Yeah,
but it should be her journey through this, because she's the sister of this girl, and I feel that you can have a personal, family related story that has better focus, because there's not so many characters involved. And I think it just would have been it would have more, I guess, substance is the word I'm looking for, which I think these movies lack.
This is like the big complaint. I think this is the biggest complaint, was that it didn't have a lot of substance and it was junk food.
Yes.
And I think the reason I push back against that is not because I disagree with it, but because I kind of knew that. I knew that going in, that it was going to be junk food, that it was going to be real light. If there was going to be any sort of deep connection, they were going to have it right on the surface. It wasn't going to be this thing. It could have been. Like if you want to fan fiction the movie, it could have been where Rosalina was helping them, but not able to help them completely. Maybe she was low on power, and maybe she knows the connection, but Peach doesn't. So you have Peach have this revelation at some point in the movie. Like, there were ways to do that and have it be deeper and feel deeper. At the same time, I just kind of wasn't expecting it. So it didn't really bother me that they didn't use that opportunity.
I'm not surprised.
But I would have welcomed it.
I would have welcomed it, yes. But I'm on the same boat. I'm not surprised, given that the first movie made so much fucking money.
Yeah.
And if anything, if Nintendo or an Illumination is going to take anything from that, it's like, oh, people just really like this, so let's just keep doing it.
Yeah, we'll just do more of the same.
So if anything, like, I know it looks like they're just ignoring you, and like they're doubling down the shit people didn't really appreciate. But it's like, yeah, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, because it's like, why change a good thing? Like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And while that's disappointing for someone that I feel that children's movie or otherwise, you can have something that's more layered, that makes it enjoyable on repeat visits, so that it's not just a fucking theme park. Again, I throw that word out again, because that's what these movies are.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm not surprised that the movie is just, for lack of a better description, more of the same.
Yeah.
But now there are Mario Galaxy references as opposed to just Mario.
Yeah, and it does expand the world. I know that a lot of people said, why is this even Galaxy? It does expand the world. I think that would, if they were planning on staying on the planet, and maybe they go to, like, now they go back to Bowser's Kingdom, or maybe they go to some other desert place, If that was their intention, then yes, I agree with a lot of people where I would have rather this been the Mario World movie.
Yeah.
But it's the Mario Galaxy movie, so they were able to expand even further. Now you can go to different biomes and different places and meet a bunch of different characters who make no sense that they're there.
Yeah.
But it works because they have left the Mushroom Kingdom. They have left whatever planet they're on.
It is a very fucking fast progression.
Yeah, the speed at which we get off of the planet, the speed at which we I'm not exaggerating when I say that when they take the castle and they do all of that and then the castle falls, they're in space. They're on a completely different world. But in the sequence of the movie, it's like a minute of time that the castle is in the sky.
That's just strictly in the pacing. I'm talking about like the scope of where these movies are going. Because the first movie was Brooklyn, Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah.
This movie, the entire fucking universe.
Now it's the rest of it.
It's the whole universe.
Yeah, if you wanted to go slower, you could have just done the Mario World movie, but they jumped right to Galaxy, and now that there's nothing left. Although, I suppose the next movie could be their Odyssey.
Yeah. Like no, because Odyssey is them shrinking. Because that's in a singular world.
Yeah.
He's just going sightseeing.
Yeah. Well, there's no bigger place to go then.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to do Galaxy 2.
Multiverse.
Well, no, I just mean like what would you brand the third movie? Like you can't really go bigger than Galaxy. You would have to either shrink back down the world or do something else entirely different. Unless it's Wonder.
Unless Wonder maybe, because Wonder as a subtitle is kind of ambiguous.
Well, Super Mario Wonder.
No, but I mean, it's like, but in terms of like how it describes the scope of a movie, though.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm thinking about. Because like again, like the universe is now your oyster. Where do you go from there?
Yeah.
Because these movies are all about escalation. It's like they have to go up. It's always continuous. Like
I think the easiest thing you can do now is just the next adventure takes place on another world.
Yeah.
I think, and it's still focused on one world or even 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But you had to have a reason that you go there, because if you stay on Earth, all you have is the Mushroom Kingdom and Sarasaland.
Yeah.
And you got the other like the yeah. But if you don't go out Galaxy, you end up with just a couple of places that you can go to.
Which I do think, given the nature of the post-credit stuff, that is where the movie's going. I think the scope of the movie is going to shrink, because I don't want to spend too long on theory crafting on where we think the movie is going to go. So the movie, and we're not kidding when we're saying the movie just ends.
Yeah,
like after the dry Bowser and Bowser Jr. scuffle with Mario and Luigi with the power-ups of Mario Galaxy 2.
Yeah, because he gets the
drill.
He gets the drill.
And Luigi uses the cloud power.
Luigi's the cloud, and Yoshi is the balloon, the inflation. Inflation power.
Look up Yoshi inflation to get what I mean.
And so then all of that happens. You win the fight. You terraform the planet. Then they basically go. They're talking about going back to see the castle. Yeah. And then Mario and Luigi have this great,
which is a great, it's a great moment.
Yeah,
because it's a hard cut.
Yeah, because again, Peach doesn't know any of this stuff that happened because it all happened after she left.
Yeah.
So then they go back and they're looking at the big crater where it's supposed to be. So then they decide they're going to rebuild it, and that's where Rosalina throws hard hats on everybody, and then we get the building sequence at the end, which is a pixel art. It's meant to look like kind of like the end of Super Mario World.
Mario Maker.
Mario Maker.
Mario Maker.
So then they rebuild the castle, so that's all done. Yeah. And then that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Like it just stops right there. And I audibly in the theater the first time I saw it went, that's it?
Yeah.
And it wasn't a that's it as in, wow, that was nothing. It was, wow, holy crap, we're already at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So then
I would have liked a little more introspection with Peach and Rosalina.
Yeah, I feel like if you had a little bit of introspection, if you had a nice a different moment with them at the end where they talk or where you get some idea of what's going to happen, because now I don't know, is Rosalina staying? Is she leaving? Are they setting up for something else? Because there was a moment earlier in the movie that is a giant teaser, sort of, if you know it. And then for the final credit sequence, you know for sure. Yeah. So we go into the credits. There's 2 credit scenes, one mid and one after. And one was mid. Yeah. There's the Lumas are running the prison. Yeah. That keep Dry Bowser.
At the very least,
The prison guard.
The nihilistic Luma from the first
blue
movie.
one from the first movie is the prison guard. Has a great sequence there.
Yeah.
I do get a kick out of it. Even if it's a tried and true joke, and even if it's a repeat joke, I got a kick out of it.
Yeah.
And then you get to...
I like that. Real quick.
Yeah.
A little detail I admire is that I like that it's Fox that brought him to the prison.
Yeah.
Because he's a mercenary.
That's right. It was Fox, and then Toad was paying him when he did that.
Yeah.
He was giving him a gold coin, and he was asking him, like, what's he going to do next? And he's not really sure. So, now we're going to get Star Fox Adventures.
Exactly. But they already did Dinosaur Planet bits.
Yeah. You did the Dinosaur. No, they didn't do Dinosaur Planet, so you can call it that. Yeah, I think that the Star Fox movie would be called Star Fox Adventures.
Yeah, most likely. But
so then you get to the
post-credit scene.
Yeah. So this is Ukiki the monkey is stealing another person's backpack or something.
Yeah.
And then you get a lace-covered fist that enters the screen, knocks him out, and it cuts to Daisy.
Yeah.
Which is, as a grown man in a room full of children, I really had to contain my excitement there because it would have felt really weird if I started screaming, "Oh my God, I love her."
Yeah.
She looks... How do you think she looks?
I think she looks great.
I think she looks fantastic. I think that visually she's terrific. She is just different enough to differentiate her and for Illumination to say, this is our version of Daisy.
Yeah.
But similar enough for this so that we understand. She's a little tan, which is what somebody who lives in the desert would look like.
Yeah.
Just everything about her, I thought was great.
Out of the princesses in the Mario universe, she is the tomboy. She is the spunky, very upfront, brunt princess. And they established that. Like, literally, the first fucking thing she does is punch a monkey.
Yeah. In a world created by Japanese society, she is the American character.
Yeah.
She is the loud, brash, tough one.
Which, admittedly, I feel this is an interesting challenge, though.
Because
this
how do you differentiate this?
Because when Peach already does a lot of action shit, and so does Rodolisa. So what makes Daisy so special now in this universe? I think she's going to say fuck.
Probably. If anyone, well, the Luma beat her to it, apparently. But I think that everything with Daisy at this point on, any discussion about Daisy is theory crafting.
Yes.
Because I have a good theory as to why she's there, and it does kind of help. It's a little weird that she's at the spaceport and not just in the Mushroom Kingdom, because my story that I wrote for bringing her into the movies takes place in Sarasaland in the Mushroom Kingdom. So if they were to adapt something like that, I'd be curious to know how they took it out to space.
Well, I think maybe in the movie context, Sarasaland is a different planet.
That could be it. That could explain why we don't really go to Sarasaland and why Bowser doesn't try and take it over, because it could actually be a different world. Planet.
Again, just real quick theory crafting. I personally think, we were talking about beforehand, the third movie is going to go smaller because again, traveling across the great expanse of the universe can be very exhausting. So if you keep it small, you keep it easy. I think the main villain in the next movie is going to be Wario.
Do you think Wario and Waluigi, or just Wario?
Just Wario.
Just Wario.
I mean, you can easily throw Waluigi as like a wacky.
Because I have a reason, because I think so too, but I have a reason why it's both of them.
I believe the villain of the next movie is going to be Wario. My only basis of this is because Daisy debuted in Super Mario Land, and that series eventually leads into Mario Land 2, which is Wario's debut, and then Mario Land 3, which is Wario,
basically a Wario game. I think they go hand in hand. They shouldn't necessarily there's an easy way to take Daisy out into space, which is Tatanga.
Yeah.
If you want to try and bring Tatanga into it, that would get her out of there. You could also say that she's actually from Earth. Yeah. Because if they do the other world thing, because Mario Land was all Earth locations. It was Egypt and
some shit.
So
another callback to the 90s.
Yeah, so Daisy could be an isekai character in this, and we already have had that because we had Star Fox, who came from another universe through a
Mario
wormhole.
himself is the isekai character.
Oh, Mario himself, absolutely. Yeah. Yoshi, I'm still not sure on. Was Yoshi from Mushroom Kingdom and then went to Brooklyn and then came back to the Mushroom Kingdom, or was he from Brooklyn? Not entirely sure.
Not entirely sure.
So I think that was my theory. My theory was that it was going to be Wario and Waluigi were starting trouble in Sarasaland, and then Daisy decided to go and look for them, And then she finds out, oh, well, there's these plumbers that kind of look like the description that you're giving, right? Short, chubby one and a tall, lanky one. And then she finds Mario and Luigi. So I think in the next movie, I think we're going to start with them fighting Daisy. Yeah. I think that Daisy is actually going to be the antagonist because she thinks that they're the ones causing trouble.
Yeah.
And then, it comes out that that's not the case. And, Bowser breaks out of prison and he tries to take over Sarasaland. And I think that there's a good actual story there. Again, am I going to expect something really deep? Probably not.
Probably not. No.
But Daisy's there.
I
That's
think.
all I care about.
I know. It's like there are
about.
thresholds that you're willing to ignore because like they referenced your favorite thing, and I'm not going to pretend I'm not guilty of that myself.
Yeah, it's fine.
Because it's like I am an absolute stan of Princess Daisy. She's always been one of my favorites since the fucking. I don't want to say like the
Mario Tennis.
Double Dash. Actually,
oh, Double Dash.
Because
Double Dash.
I liked her vocal delivery and that sort of thing, and I just liked how I mean she screams like a fucking banshee in some of like the sports related games. But I like that about her. Like again, I'm a sucker for the tomboy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I love tomboys, and I just love fiery personalities. And which Princess Daisy is, which again makes for an interesting challenge for the next movie because like how do you do that when the princess in this movies are already doing?
They're already kicking ass. They're already doing anything, unless it's just that Peach is gonna be the Mushroom Kingdom princess who is kicking ass, and then she's gonna be the Sarasaland princess that kicks ass. So. It is nice that they're doing that. I think that there's definitely room for both of them to be that kind of character.
Yeah.
I think they're also setting up that she's going to be with Luigi.
Yeah.
And the reason I think that is because early in the movie, at the beginning, when Luigi's talking to Mario about hooking up with Peach, about telling her, hey, ask her out or something, he says, then ask her if she has a friend.
Yeah.
And I think that Peach and Daisy are going to become friends in the next movie, and then Daisy's going to be the friend that Peach recommends to Luigi.
Yeah.
So I do think that they're kind of sowing the seeds.
What if it's Rosalina?
Rosalina? Oh, brother.
Like game theory crap is like, I fucking told you.
Oh, and by the way, we were all cheated out of 7-foot Rosalina. I'm just saying. We got 7-foot Peach, but we didn't get 7-foot Rosalina. I don't know.
But yeah, so
I mean, that's the movie. That's it.
Yeah, assuming the third movie is still Mario centric and they don't pull the trigger early on like a Smash Bros.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think that having Daisy be in the last scene means that it's not going to be that yet. I think when they finally set up the Smash Bros movie, it's going to be blatantly obvious, and I think it's going to be because Mario is at home and they check the mail and he gets a letter.
He gets a letter
because Mario should be the first one to get a letter for Smash Bros. They have no idea where it comes from. You have no idea what's happening. All I know is they check the mail, which is great for the beginning of Paper Mario reference.
Yeah.
They go out and they check the mail, and when he's going through the mail, he says, "Hey Mario, you got a letter," and he gives it, and it's got the seal on it.
Yeah, the last thing you see is the Smash logo.
The last thing you see is the seal with the Smash logo on it, and then that is it. And that's how you know, like, oh my God, that's going to be the next movie. So I think the third movie is going to be just more of the same. I think it's going to be set somewhere, most likely out in space, so that they can just to get to other planets.
Yeah.
And then that's what it's going to be. It's going to be the Daisy movie with Wario and possibly Waluigi, I think.
But that's a wrap. That's where the movie ends. That's where the movie is leading up to. And we can go into final thoughts.
What are your final thoughts?
All right. So again, to repeat something that I said earlier, I put it on par with the first movie because it pretty much has the exact same problems I had with the original movie, where its pace is blistering, there's no time to breathe, and shit that should be given more attention is not for the sake of moving on to the next bit.
Yeah.
It feels more Mario for what it's worth, though.
Yeah.
We were talking about like the subdue practice of not having so much licensed music, which did kind of stink up the joint last. I didn't really, and I'm speaking to someone who didn't really care for like the aha moment with the DKC stuff, that sort of thing. It's like, is it gratuitous? Yes, but it's like it's harmless. I'm not really.
It's fine. For me, it takes me out of the movie.
Yeah.
When I'm elbow deep into the world of Mario and the Mushroom Kingdom, and then all of a sudden, Take On Me comes on.
Yeah.
And that it's not even really offensive. It takes me out of the movie. Hypnotized did the same thing for this movie. Yeah. I could have sworn there was another moment of licensed music, but then that was all they used. And then the rest of it was music beats from the games, sound effects, great Star Fox music during the entire Star Fox sequence.
I didn't know exactly when to interject for this sort of thing, but if there's one thing this movie does do that just makes me so fucking warm in the heart, is that it just reminds me, fuck, man, Galaxy had a great soundtrack. No, because again, to mention again, Super Mario Galaxy is legit one of my favorite Mario games of all time. And a big part of that is because of its score. Its score is wonderful. It is majestic. It fills you with a sense of wonder.
It wells up. It wells up the way it wells up inside of you.
It is a very majestic thing.
Yeah.
But on the other side of that, though, the Star Fox callbacks are just gorgeous.
I loved it.
I reckon the Quinera theme. I recognize the Space Battleground theme. Like everything from both the SNES game and 64. I know people were probably referencing 64 first.
Yeah.
But there was also a lot of callbacks to the SNES original as well that I greatly appreciated. It's like, fuck, man, Star Fox. I love Star Fox. Yeah. Like, Star Fox really was just...
It's gotten a bunch of people to start playing the games.
Yeah.
I started playing 64. And I never played 64.
It's really?
Yeah,
okay.
I never played 64.
That's a different conversation for later.
Yeah.
There's one thing to take away from this is, like, clearly, like, outside of Miyamoto, like I made Star Fox. I want people to appreciate this Fox that I made. It makes me excited that we might be getting a new Star Fox actually.
Yeah,
like genuinely.
Well, now that's the rumor. At the time of this recording, there is a rumor that there is a Star Fox game coming, which I feel like is perfect.
Like, how do you not?
I feel like you don't waste this opportunity.
You got a lot of new eyes on this character they probably never heard of.
Yeah, and it worked with Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
And to go, Donkey Kong was in the movie, and then a couple years later you get Bonanza.
Yeah.
Which kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, like at the beginning, which is that you're putting these characters in, and this is a good opportunity for you to introduce these characters, but you want people talking about them. And that's why when we go back to, like, why did they announce it a week before the movie came out that he was going to be in it? It's because they want people talking about it.
Yeah.
They want people talking about, oh, my God, Star Fox is in it. The scenes were great. The action was great. The music was great.
Yeah.
And then it gets some hype. And they want to watch a movie. They want to watch a show. They want to play a game.
And, like, mission accomplished because,
and it works.
Arguably, Fox is the best thing about the movie. Like, I would say. Like, I would personally say, like, Fox is the best thing about the movie. Because like, there was not a dull moment with him in it. Like, I loved every moment
that
he
is
was
a good
in.
thing.
I think it was written well enough.
Outside of being on the dinosaur planet and you just didn't do anything with him, that was probably your best moment to do a little bit more with him.
Yeah.
But everything else was fine. And what they did with him there was nothing, but it kind of needed to be nothing because they had this other gag that they wanted to play off.
Yeah.
So, he was a great addition to the movie, and I would like to see him in more projects now, and I'd like to see that version. And to be completely honest, if you want to give me like Nintendo, if you want to give me like a 20-minute video with that animation where he was telling you about his backstory, if that was a whole episode, I would watch the hell out of it. I thought that animation was great. I loved it. I would watch the hell out of something like that.
Which is to say, like, would I go back and watch this any more than the first movie? The answer is probably not. Like, I've already seen the movie twice. And I don't think I need to watch it again, like anytime soon, outside of like a community watch. Will I mind watching it? No.
No.
Again, because the movie's fast. The movie's very fast. It's also short. Like, it's barely feature length film. I think it's like just 32, like 93 minutes or something like that.
Well, hour and a half. That's pretty average.
That's feature length.
That's feature length.
It's just standard feature length.
Yeah.
And like the movie honestly doesn't feel like it. It feels a little shorter.
I'm dead serious. And when you watch the movie, the ending's gonna sneak up on you. Yeah. It's just suddenly gonna be there because you're like, like I know when it should be. They beat the bad guys. They got back home. Like, that's when the movie should end.
Yeah.
But it goes so fast.
Yeah.
You're just you get into a rhythm where you're just expecting the next thing, and when the next thing is the credits, it's gonna feel like it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, and it's like I'm not asking for a Return of the King's 5 different endings, but I am asking for some introspection at the end. It's like
Kamek,
Fade to Black 1. Wart's still there.
Yeah, Wart's still there for some reason.
But it's like, fuck, man. Again, like I'm beating a dead horse when I say this. To go into my final thought. Can you slow the fuck down for the next movie? Please just slow the fuck down. You don't even need to. The movie does not. I'm not asking for a 2-hour movie. No movie needs to be 2 hours to tell a good story. But I'm saying that you were well within the means. You shrink the universe down. You remove some characters that you don't need to play reference to every fucking little Mario entity ever in the history of Mario. But you can make a heartfelt, full movie that is not just full of character but full of substance too. Make me give a shit about what's happening on the screen outside of it's Mario and I recognize things. Yeah, because that's what these movies
they
are.
Yeah, there's a good chunk of it.
And that's not to say you can't. There's no enjoyment to be had because again, for the third, maybe fourth time, they are theme parks, and theme parks are meant to entertain.
Yeah.
And theme parks are entertaining. I myself love going to theme parks. But if you want me to keep coming back There's got to be a reason.
Here's a fun ride. A bench. You can sit down and relax a little.
What did you say, Aunt Rosalina? I said take off those damn glasses. Anyway, but your final thoughts.
So my final thoughts are, I like the movie. So I saw it again. I was intending to see it again either way. And then we decided that we were going to have this discussion. So I wanted to see it before the discussion. But I was actually going to see it again either way. I enjoyed it. It was blistering fast. But I liked the things that were happening, so I didn't mind too much. Because I do worry that if you did the other way, I'm just grateful that they didn't do it the other way, which is where we linger on every scene for way too long.
Yeah.
And we linger with these characters for too long. It was too fast. But it was also fine because they were trying. Like, again, I didn't feel like I lost anything because of it outside of maybe the dinosaur planet with the, like you said, with the Peach discussion. That would have been fine. But everything else, I think we got enough of it. I think there was enough humor. I think there was enough of the connective moments for the connection side of things. I think Bowser and Bowser Jr. actually filled that. I like the connection that they had. I like the puppet show. And again, him turning heel for his son. And then he turns it real heel and gets onto the bridge. I won't let that happen. So I think that ironically, I think that Bowser and Bowser Jr. filled in the heartfelt moments of the movie. I'm going to say this, and this is going to sound really abrasive, and I'm not speaking to anybody in particular. I am not mad at the movie for not being something that I was never expecting it to be, and I don't think it was ever going to be because it's the second movie. If this was the first movie, like when people complain about the stuff for the first movie, I said, yeah, I agree. I wish it was a lot deeper. I wish that the Mario and Donkey Kong thing were deeper. I wish that the brothers were together more. There was a lot of stuff there that I thought that we should have had. And if it slowed down, we would have gotten it. But now this is the second movie. I know we didn't get it with the first one, so I know not to expect it for the second one. Does it suck? Do I wish that we could have had more substance? Sure. But I also didn't go into it expecting it, so I'm not hurt that it wasn't
because
there.
Expectations are set, I would argue. It's because I would argue there's more credence to expecting a more thoughtful movie if the first movie didn't movie didn't do well.
Yeah, but it did $1.5 billion.
$1 billion Mario bucks.
Yeah, it made billions of coins.
It made bonkers fucking money.
Yeah, so that's why I knew that for the second one they weren't going to mess with that formula.
Yeah,
they weren't going to risk only making 1.0 billion instead of 1.2 billion. They weren't going to risk that. So I went into it just kind of expecting what I got. I didn't really go in thinking, wow, they didn't flesh these characters out. They didn't make these obscure connections. I hate that Rosalina is her sister and not her mom. There's a bunch of reasons that I've heard people say that they didn't like the movie, and I feel like the movie never promised to be any of those things.
Yeah.
And because of that, I was happy with what I got. Would I have liked more? Absolutely. Am I happy it wasn't less? Absolutely. Overall, I thought it was a really good movie, and I enjoyed it. Would I go back to it again? I mean, literally, I did once already, technically. I would go back for the moments. Yeah. I would go back to watch fight sequences on YouTube.
Which you can easily, again, that kind of goes into like how I feel like the editing process was handled for this movie. I felt like this movie was a hodgepodge of YouTube shorts.
It was edited, it was created as a bunch of sequences. So it's easy for you to just jump in and say, oh, I love the Star Fox stuff, and just jump into all the Star Fox stuff and cut out everything else.
There's no context needed for any of the action bits. It is just Mario characters doing Mario things, and they can exist in that 1 minute bubble.
You know what that reminds me of?
What's that?
Mario Z. Yeah, buddy.
A little bit.
Super Mario Z.
There was a story going on. Mario Z had a story there too.
There was a story going on, but you didn't care.
But Mario Z also kind of had the opposite problem where it slowed down too much.
Yeah, I jumped, but that's a show. I bring it up because that is a show. I would call it a show.
A web show.
That web show.
Yeah.
Where there is stuff going on. There is story. There is involvement. There are characters and some level of character development. But I didn't care because I wanted to watch the fights.
Yeah.
So all my favorite episodes were the fight sequence episodes.
Yeah. Which is again, that shouldn't invalidate a reason for liking the movie, because you can very much enjoy the movie on those merits. There are multiple ways to enjoy a film. And yes, I am ultimately bummed that the movie doesn't seem to do anything different from the first movie, which again it's fun, but it's not deep. It is a rain puddle. You can step on it, but at the same time, I was not going in expecting anything different, given how successful the first movie was.
Yeah.
It's not as if the first movie was a wreck. It wasn't. No,
Yeah.
a lot of people liked it. Made a lot of money, but at the same time, because it is not, I do think people are being a little hyperbolic with this movie in regards to it not meeting their expectations, because I've seen some pretty vitriolic takes.
There was some pretty obnoxious. I think it was it IGN or the Times that the guy said gave it like a 0 out of 10 and said I'd rather stab myself in the leg with a fork or something. And I'm sitting there like, all right, buddy.
All right. I understand, like, everyone's got to put a bit on for the sake of like writing an article or some other shit.
But not everybody does.
But
that's the thing. If you're a YouTuber, sure. But if you're the Times or IGN or something, you shouldn't be having that. Like, if you didn't like it, you didn't like it. But the whole, like, I'm going to stab myself in the leg.
Because you just sound like a bitch.
It was very AVGN, like early AVGN.
But AVGN's a character.
Yeah, he's a character. He's a character doing a character review.
Yeah.
But it just had that sensation of, I need to sensationalize this review by telling everybody that it's not just bad, it's the worst thing I've ever seen. And it's like, okay, no, it's not the worst thing you've ever seen. The Room exists.
It's really not. Like, it's like you'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be okay. If you are on the fence about wanting to see the movie, I think you'll have a good time. I think that this movie is going to rise and fall by what your expectations are.
Yeah.
If you are expecting a junk food movie with a bunch of bright, colorful things and a bunch of member berries spread all over the thing, then you're going to enjoy it. I think you're going to enjoy it. If you are thinking this is going to be deep Mario lore, and you're going to get in there and you're going to learn a bunch of stuff about the characters, you're not really going to enjoy it. You're gonna. It's a sugary, saccharine, sugar rush kind of thing, and that's really all it's trying to be. And I went into it for that, so I came out pretty happy on the other side. And then, of course, I got Daisy.
Yeah, I got Daisy. I think it's because it ends on the Daisy note.
There should be a Daisy reveal at the end of every movie. I'm gonna go watch Project Hail Mary, and if Daisy's not in it, I'm gonna be pissed.
It was really weird how Daisy saved Sonic from Metal Sonic at the end of Sonic 3.
I thought the big twist was crazy that Daisy was the aliens in Arrival. It was wild. It's like unbelievable.
It has nothing to do with the story.
Yeah.
But I don't care. All right, but we're going to call it a wrap there, folks, for our nice little
2.5
hour discussion. Well, it's 2.5 hour, like, unedited.
For the recording, it's 2.5 hours. Yeah. For anybody that comes to my streams, this is light.
Yeah.
You guys know I reined it in a lot.
This is honestly something that I wanted to do for some time, because I honestly did miss doing the movie podcasts with my friends, and I would like to bring those back at some point or another. But that ultimately lives or dies by not just my enjoyment from it, but also your response to it too. Did you enjoy what you listened to for two chuckle fucks talking about a children's movie for 2.5 hours? Please let me know, like, in the comments, like the video I like, or hit subscribe. I don't give a fuck.
And if you have movies you actually would like us to do, let us know. Let us know if this is if you want us to
absolutely love continue doing this.
Yeah, if you want us to do video game movies, or you want to go somewhere else, we do 93 Mario.
We could.
Yeah, buddy.
I would like to start doing video, because I reviewed video games. I would absolutely like to start just reviewing video game centric movies, because there are easy ones like you have fun just having discussions about, but there's also maybe ones that we probably would be out of the ballpark or out of our depth for what people would expect this channel to cover.
Yeah, I mean, there's a Max Payne movie. Yeah. There was the Prince of Persia movie.
Yeah,
so
there's
Assassin's Creed. These are all video game centric things.
Louis Bo's House of the Dead. There's a myriad of possibilities, I feel, but it really just depends. If you guys would like to continue seeing more of this, please let us do, because like if you guys want to see more of this, I will gladly take the time out of my schedule to record these, because these are really fun.
Yeah, these are great.
But thank you, Uncle, for joining me for this one, and we will catch you guys in the next Versus video, because at the time of this recording, I am starting to get ready to celebrate the 15th anniversary of the Johnny Versus series.
Wow!
My bread and butter of this channel turns 15. Oh, it'll probably already turn 15 by the time this video goes up, because April 11th is the day it goes 15, and I want to spend the whole year just celebrating that.
Johnny 15 versus Johnny 1. Yeah. You go back and you review all your reviews.
Yeah, and Johnny 5 from Short Circuit is there.
Because kids don't know him anymore.
Yeah, and he also turns very slowly. To look
and just FYI, that's not Rob.
Yeah, that's not. Okay. No, it's not Rob. That's Johnny 5. Get it right. He also turns very slowly.
Yes.
To point in the direction of stuff. But all right, guys, we'll catch you all next time. And with all that said, have yourselves a fantastic nights and take care.